control, shoveling dirt in every hole. Predators to condemn your soul, watching you and watching me. We're all connected but separated, misunderstood and so frustrated. A million armies of one have invaded, watching you and watching me. We live behind glass curtains and act like nothing's wrong. Soon you will belong. I know you're out there somewhere. We've watched you for so long. We wait for you to fall. We'll expose you all. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. The little brother wants to make headlines, be immortalized. Everyone's got an electric eye, we're the digital spies. They've watched you for so long. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. We the people have taken over. We the people are little brother, standing by to dethrone each other, watching you and watching me. Paranoid, the lens is our weapon, desensitized in our lust for attention, democratized by our voyeur obsessions, watching you and watching me. Slaves to perfection, don't let them project you as you are. Reveal your every flaw. I know you're out there somewhere. We've watched you for so long. Wait for you to fall. We'll expose you all. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. Little brother wants to make headlines, be immortalized. Everyone's got an electric eye, we're the digital spies. They've watched you for so long. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. Stay in line, don't make a mistake. We're watching. We've watched you for so long. We wait for you to fall. We will expose you all. I know you're out there somewhere watching me.
Let your experience begin right now. From high atop the mountains of British Columbia to you listening around the world, this is Spaced Out Radio. You can follow us on our website, spacedoutradio.com, on Twitter, @SpacedOutRadio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. You can follow us on Instagram, Dave Scott, SOR, or on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show.
They let us play with all our toys. They let us think that we're big boys. They let us make the louder noise, but women rule the world. They let us think we're Superman, that we're the only ones who can be strong, but we break on command, cause women rule the world.
Buckle up, space travelers. It's time to go for a ride as we are live on Spaced Out Radio.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The deeper I go, the deeper I fall.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Tonight I am your host, Dave Scott, and thanks for listening in on spacedoutradio.com, on Spreaker, and on Revolution Radio, as once again we come in from the Great White North, live on this Thursday night, early Friday morning if you're on the East Coast. Here at SOR, we broadcast every night of the week as we want to be your official one-stop shop when it comes to the supernatural, paranormal, conspiratorial, ufological, and even them damn garden gnomes every single night. Guns N' Roses' former lead guitarist Ron Bumblefoot Thal is the official music of the mighty SOR. Go to our website and click on the Bumblefoot banner to hear some of his great tunes. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Instagram, I can be followed at Dave Scott SOR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. Download our shows on iTunes. Find us on TuneIn. Our website, once again, spacedoutradio.com. At this time, we'd like to say hello, how are you to everyone listening in on the Revolution Radio chat room on the High Plains Talk Radio Network, in the Space Out Radio chat room on Spreaker, along with our fans on Facebook at Euphoria Chronicles, Chronicles of the Unknown, Forest Moon Paranormal, and our flagship chat room, the SOR Space Travelers. If you haven't joined the SOR Space Travelers Club yet, it is time. It's only $5 a month, and with that, your name gets entered in a monthly prize draws. You get access to private group interviews, access to a special section on our website, and much more. Hey, we're going to give you a hell of a lot more than just access to our archives. While at our website, you can read up on our latest blogs. Check out Eric Markham's SOR Spacewire for your latest weird news. And if you've had an experience you just can't explain, and you'd like someone to investigate it, the SOR Sightlines report is right here for you. Fill it out. All your information is 100% confidential. Our researcher, Mike Schmidt, and he's got a badass goatee, is going to investigate it for you. So get on that today at spacedoutradio.com. Remember, if you're listening in on Revolution Radio, it is the largest nonprofit online radio station going. Do us a favor, take the time to visit freedomslips.com and donate today. You know, I'm pretty excited about tomorrow, as I'm going to be making the trek from the deep wilderness of central British Columbia down to Washington State, with definitely a detour at the local taco stand somewhere in between. I will be one of the keynote speakers at the first annual Forest Moon Paracon in Concrete, Washington. And I have to tell you, I'm pretty excited about this. This is going to be the first Paracon I've actually attended where I'm going to be a guest speaker. Nervous? Yeah, a little. But I know I will get through it no problem. The one thing I am looking forward to is actually meeting some of the people whom I've only ever talked to either on this show or over social media or on Skype or the telephone. My topic this year will be based on the experiencer. Too many times we as experiencers, and we've heard it on this show, are pushed away because as intriguing as our stories are, well, it's just not as sexy as going after disclosure or scientific intervention. Funny how that works, but that's what I will be talking about. Tonight we have organizers Eric Cooper, S.J. Wells, and Russ Wells with us, along with other keynote speaking guests, Christina George, who's in Oregon State right now, making her way north from California. Russ, Eric, S.J., and Christina, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing Spaced Out Radio to be a part of the Forest Moon Paracon this coming weekend.
Oh, always a pleasure.
We're looking forward to
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Now, Christina, I got to start with you on this one because you went through California today along the I-5. You know, you're right in that Bluff Creek area. Any Bigfoot? Did you see anything through Mount Shasta or anywhere along there?
I didn't, but I was absolutely looking. I've actually done a lot of camping up at Mount Shasta and have done, lots of different Bigfoot investigations up and around that area as well as up in Washington State. So, we were definitely looking, but we were just trying to get here. It's a long drive.
Yes, it is. And you know what? A few years ago, my wife and I, we actually drove the kids down to Disneyland, and we left here in British Columbia at about 7 o'clock p.m., hit the border, and we started driving. We got to Mount Shasta at 5:15 in the morning, and I tell you, there is nothing more beautiful in this world than driving the I-5 and watching the sun rise over Mount Shasta. It is one of the most beautiful sights I have ever seen. You got to do me a favor, though, Christina.
What's that?
Tomorrow, when we finally meet, and Eric Cooper will be there, I want a personal photo of you and I tugging on Eric's beard, because he's been growing that bad boy for me, and we got to tug that beard.
You got it. That's all I got. That's easy.
Yeah, and I know Cooper's rolling his eyes right now. I appreciate that. Russ and SJ from Fog Paranormal, how are you guys?
We're doing good. How are you?
Excellent. I am excellent, and I'm getting giddy. I'm getting excited to get down there. And like I said in the intro, I am very, very excited to finally meet all of you people because we only know each other by voice and maybe the odd picture that goes on social media. So to be able to actually go down there, shake your hands, give you guys a hug, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are looking forward to it too, Dave.
It's going to be a blast, no doubt about it.
And Eric Cooper, of course, you are recognizable around these parts at Spaced Out Radio. I appreciate you, as well as Russ and SJ, for allowing me to be a part of this and to be a speaker on this. And you know what? I'm really hoping, my friend, that my speech is good enough where you guys will actually invite me back next year. Hopefully I don't make too much of an ass out of myself.
Oh, no, you have an open invitation every year.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that. And you know what? We're bringing a lot of BC connections down. The guys from Chronicles of the Unknown and James Tyson from Spaced Out Weekends going to be down there broadcasting live on Friday and Saturday night as well. So we're going to have a big presence from British Columbia down there. And thanks for holding it so damn close to the border. I appreciate that.
Almost definitely.
The only thing I can say is, hey, man, as long as you follow my act, you won't look like an ass. I guarantee it. I already have them in stitches. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Russ, I look forward to it. I really do. And I look forward to watching and listening to every single speaker. And you know what? I hope we've been promoting this event for a couple of months now on this show, pretty much every time Eric comes on the air. So I hope a lot of Spaced Out Radio listeners who are here on the West Coast actually make the trek down there to, or up, depending on where you are, to check out the event. So let's start, Eric, with you, if you don't mind. Tell us about the event. What got this going? What sparked the interest in wanting to hold a Paracon?
Well, I've been wanting to go to a Paracon for years. I mean, I've been in the paranormal field for, the UFO and alien side over 20 at least. And every time you see a Paracon, a ufology conference, they want like $100. I don't know of too many people that can afford $100. And we started the fundraising for it, a long time ago. And it was slow in coming, and we've done fine. But I wanted to do a free Paracon because you're going to pull more people in. You're going to get more experiencers to get their exposure and get the help they need if you offer a free Paracon, free information to the public. And that's really the biggest drive I had to get one going, is to do a free one. Because, not, like I said, not many people can afford a $100 ticket a day, And that was the biggest drive. And up here in Concrete, Bigfoot is huge. And this community alone is the most haunted in this county, as SJ and Russ can attest to. Absolutely. And we've got UFOs, we've got alien ducks, we've got the whole spectrum of the paranormal right here in this little town. So it was a perfect spot to do it. And we've got the support of most of the community. So it was a given.
Russ, I bring you in here now. How excited were you guys when you started chatting about putting a Paracon together in Concrete and noting that everyone just seemed to be on the same page that you had to do this?
Well, it just, everything falls into place, and it's important that, for one, we bring the attention to the town of Concrete. It's been an economic depression for years. So we're hoping that that'll help drive some interest into the town. And getting everybody together, this is the first one in the Great Northwest. I mean, man, you can't get any bigger than that. You got some great speakers. You got some that aren't so good, like myself. But the lineup is awesome, man. I mean, we're just going to have a blast. Yeah. I can't wait to meet all you guys.
I know, and you know what? I look forward, besides tugging on Eric's beard, which Christina's going to join me in, and I'm very thankful of that. That way we get the double-sided tug. That's going to be a good photo.
YouTube. I'm running video, baby. Don't worry about it.
Excellent.
Wait. You know what? I got to say, just like an hour ago, as a matter of fact, we've already got plenty of video coverage. But an hour ago, I checked my email, and we have a whole nother production company that's coming that wants to do interviews and for their show. So, I mean, we've got three different video companies that are coming to do their shows at this event. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Let's just remember the way Skype works, guys. I can only get one person talking at a time, otherwise it cuts everybody out. So we want a clear line because we want to be able to hear what everybody is saying tonight. Now, SJ, I'm glad to finally meet you because when we did our interview a couple months back on Spaced Out Radio, I'm like, I cannot wait to give this lady a hug. You were just so warm and so kind, and I tell you, I got the biggest bear hug waiting for you.
Oh, right. I can't wait.
Honestly. So when you guys started putting together, what time of the year was this? How quickly did this come along?
Well,
when did we start, SJ and Russ?
Oh, gosh. It was at the beginning. Yeah, it was early wintertime, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about February.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, February.
So for people who don't know how these start, SJ, how did this come together? Eric explained it a little bit, that it came together very quickly. But did you guys meet at a local restaurant to sit down and say, we got to do this? How did this come together?
Well, yeah, exactly what we did is we went and met we started meeting at the 5B's bakery once a month, and we would sit down and hash out ideas and what needed to be done and who needed to be contacted and all that stuff. And then it just kind of all fell into place. And Eric and Izzy have done a lot of hard work for all this. And I can't wait to give them a hug when I get to the Paracon because I haven't seen them in a little while.
right?
Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of response did you get, Eric, from the community right off the bat? Were they excited? Because, I mean, let's face it, here in the Northwest, at this time of the year, the tourists have gone home. There's not a lot of people out there traveling right now unless they're on their way down to Arizona or New Mexico for the winter.
Oh, it's not even that. We actually are at the base of a pass, the North Cross Pass, and it closes. This is the only pass in Washington that I know of that actually closes for the winter. So the big tourist drive, yeah, it's done. It's over with. A lot of businesses up here, they shut down because if they don't make the revenue they need through the summer and through the tourist season, they don't make it through the winter. So you see a lot of, you'll see when you get up here, a lot of empty storefronts, because if they haven't planned ahead and if they don't know what to expect, they shut down and they never recover. So when the mayor found out, he was excited and he was thrilled. We have two of the city council that is actually in Forest Moon Paranormal. They've been pushing this. So, I mean, and even most of the businesses have been on board and been excited. So when it comes to the community, and you'll find about, I'll go a low number, I'd say about 6 out of 10 people will come out and say, yes, I'm haunted, or yes, I've seen Bigfoot. So when it comes to the overall attitude of the community, they're excited. And now that I've been doing paranormal radio on the local station with one of our local DJs, the word's getting out even more. There is a paranormal group presence in their community. So I think this year is going to be small, but not small by any means. But when it comes, as each year progresses, you're going to see more and a bigger response each time.
That's great, man. And the one thing that I like about it is everything is free. And Christina, I haven't forgotten about you, I promise. But just leading up to this, Russ, what did you think about the idea about doing a free event at Forest Moon to try and get as many people there as possible? Because there's not a lot of things these days that come with the free price tag anymore.
Well, that's the whole point. I think that we've had too many people that have been, charging way too much for these things. As a matter of fact, we've had a very large celebrity, a ghost hunter or a paranormal investigator that hasn't done very well with the public. And we want to squash those kind of images and show that we are about education, about sharing experiences and educating the public about paranormal and what it involves and what it doesn't involve. The constant, oh, you're crazy, or you got to be, you got to be some kind of nut to call people like that. We're just normal people. Well, maybe not normal, but
Well, you know what? And in the end, what was it like getting speakers? And SJ, I'll push this one to you if you don't mind, because we have Christina who's speaking. I'll be speaking at the event. Did you find that it was easy to get speakers, or it was a lot tougher than you thought it would be?
Well, you know what? Actually, you might want to ask Eric that, because I think him and Izzy are the ones that got all the speakers together.
Okay, well, Eric, we'll go with you on that one then.
The speakers were easy. I mean, believe it or not, my biggest thing was, and that's the thing about making the free event possible, because a lot of the bigger events, they have to pay for airfare, they have to pay for a lot of other stuff to get speakers here. All my speakers offer to get themselves here, and all I had to put up was lodging. That made it easy. So I thank the speakers for that aspect, because they kept the bill low on doing that. So as far as the speakers, I mean, I approached you, I approached Christina, SJ and Russ are local, so they were easy enough to get.
Yep.
And Tyler Helen Standing Bear, he lives right here in Concrete. He's my Bigfoot guy. And then I've known Derek Tyler for a while, and he's the abduction guy. And I mean, he's just in Seattle. So with that, the speakers were easy enough to pick out.
So when you put this list of speakers together, how did you decide who talks what? How did you break it down? Because a lot of times you go to these Paracons and you may have 6 or 8 different speakers, but they're all talking about the exact same thing. So how did you break it down, Eric?
Well, that was easy. I broke that because, my view on the paranormal is the whole spectrum. It's not just ghosts and hauntings. It's not just... So, no, I kind of picked and chose who I knew was in what area. Like, I mean, Tyler Allen, he's been dealing with Bigfoot for a very long time, personally. And so he was an obvious choice for Bigfoot, and he's right here. Derek Tyler, being the abduction and the MyLab side of it, was also an obvious choice. The only reason I'm speaking is because we didn't have quite enough on the UFO and abduction side, and since I've been doing this, and I put a presentation together, so that's why I kind of got thrown into it. And so, no, it was kind of a who do I know right off the top that's close enough to pull in, that knows their subject well enough to be able to pull in a presentation. And that's how I picked and chose.
And I guess when you look at the list, Russ and SJ, that Eric put together of speakers, you have to, when you're putting something like this together, you have to bring in people whom you know and you can trust to come help launch this thing, especially when you're doing it for the first time and you really don't know what the public reaction or community reaction is going to be. And you want to make sure that those people actually arrive. Isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We've known Eric for a couple of years. Only for a couple of years, but we're real close to them. They're good friends, and when they asked us to be speakers, it was no brainer. I mean, we absolutely told them that we would love to do it because, one, it's free and it's getting the education out there that we've talked about here on the show already. But it's very important, to educate the public the right way.
Yeah.
And Christina, let me bring you back in here, if you don't mind, because I'm going to get to your topic of discussion in a few minutes here. You're only going to be joining us for the first hour of tonight's show because, well, let's face it, you drove for 8 hours today from California. You're now in Oregon. You got to make your way in the morning up to Washington State, which is probably another 6.5 hours worth of driving, 7 hours worth of driving. So we don't want to keep you too long. You need some rest. But when you get approached for a conference like this, do you still get excited about it? Do you still get that feeling of, wow, I can't believe they chose me? Because that's how I felt.
Yeah. I absolutely do. I mean, I've spoken at, UFO conferences and paranormal conferences all over the U.S., and each time it's like the first time for me. I mean, I really enjoy it because, just like you said, you kind of wonder. I mean, I've done it. I always change my lectures. I never like to do the same lecture, twice in a row, even though it's different people. A lot of them get videotaped, and who wants to just talk about the same thing? There's just so much to cover and so many things to talk about. So I was definitely excited and, ready to make this journey, out here. I don't drive usually too far. I usually fly, but this is such a beautiful landscape, So we actually, myself and one of my team members, Mike Fuentes, we drove, and we left a day early. We're not going to come back to California until Tuesday, so we're actually going to be kind of taking advantage and playing tourist a little bit too, so should be fun.
Well, Lord knows you were in the hub of Tourism City there in Bend, Oregon. Just be careful that the signs don't go all haywire on you there because it is so exciting there. I'm teasing nonetheless. But
I know. Well, fortunately, though, I actually have some online friends that live in the area. So, it's kind of great because as I'm going, some people are coming to Concrete to come to the event and also to be able to meet me in person. So it's kind of fun to be able to do all this. I mean, again, it's different, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm definitely enjoying it.
Well, I'm excited to actually meet you, and I'm excited to actually have you on this show for the absolute first time, and hopefully we get to do it again, because you know what? I like good people coming on this show who are honest and knowledgeable about their topics, and Eric speaks very highly of you, so maybe when you're back cozy and comfy in your home back in California, we can do it again very soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, this month, I'll tell you, has been so crazy because between, I host 2 live shows each week, and then I run my own paranormal society. So I've got so much going on at lectures, and I've just literally 2 times a week I have the shows, and then every weekend I'm traveling somewhere to do something. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to Concrete. From what I've been told by everybody, it's a great haunted town, and I can't wait to be able to check it out for myself.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it, too. And you know what? I love the fact, Christina, that this event has so many different types of speakers in it. As I said to Eric, and you've been to a lot of events, way more than I have. This will be my 3rd or 4th event that I've actually attended. And the one thing that I notice with a lot of these that come along my Facebook page or my social media pages is that they all seem the same. And this one is so vastly different. How good is that from what you have seen around the talking circuit? When you see, say, a Paracon where you got 10 paranormal experts on there, or you see a UFO con where it's all about UFOs and sightings and reports, how exciting is it for you to actually see one where they took the time to actually mix things up?
Oh, it's amazing. In fact, that was one of the reasons I was so into this, and the fact that it was a free event, because I've been saying for so long, that the people are so focused. The paranormal people, they just believe in the paranormal, but they don't really believe in the UFOs. The UFO people, it's like they focus on the UFOs, but they don't really like to dabble or deal in the paranormal. And then you've got the cryptozoology, Bigfoot people that, they just kind of stay in their own groups. And because
Fuck. Okay. If you are still there and just coming back on, we had a little bit of a power outage here happen. I'm assuming that there's a little bit of a storm that's happening. Okay, so we're going to get everything going here once again. I apologize that everything happened that way. And so we're going to connect right now back with absolutely everyone. If you're listening on Studio B on Revolution Radio, we do want to let you know that we did have a power outage up here where I am broadcasting. Okay, so I do apologize to all of you with that. We are going to be getting everybody back on here from Forest Moon Paracon. It's been a little windy up here today, so if you hear some ringtones happening, that's because we're getting everybody back on board. They don't know what happened yet, so I'm going to have to explain this story here probably quite a bit. So once again, I do apologize. Up here in BC, the wind just keeps blowing. And no, I was not swearing. I can guarantee you I was not swearing. Russ and SJ, I apologize about that. We had a power surge here due to a windstorm, so I just got to bring Eric and Christina back in.
Okay.
So I apologize about that. And, but I can't control Mother Nature. There's a lot of things I can control, And people in the chat rooms are like, oh, Dave must be swearing now. He must be swearing. No, I'm not swearing. I believe Christina's with us. Oh, not yet. She's not with us. She's hopefully coming in here. There's her ringtone. There's her ringtone. We're going to get this thing back going again.
All right.
No, there was no F word, Don. I can say that. There was no F word on this part. All right. There's Christina.
Please your message for...
Oh, that is not Christina. We're going to hang up on her voicemail. We're going to try and get her back, too. So we'll get Eric back on here. Well, you know, this really cuts into some quality radio time. I'm going to tell you this. This is a real pain in the butt here.
Live from New York.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the great thing about live radio. You know, it's unpredictable.
Well,
That's what
that's
makes
true.
it fun.
That's true. I mean, I just talked to Cooper like 30 seconds ago. Where the hell could he be disappearing to now? Are you kidding me?
Hello.
Hey, how's your beard?
Hey, it's still growing.
Excellent. We got you back here. I just got to get Christina back in here, and then we'll be off and running again. I think it was Mike Schmidt who was sitting beside me. I think he's the one who caused this, because literally he says, I'm just stepping outside for a minute, and he walks through the studio door, and all of a sudden the power just went off. So I'm blaming him. You know, let's see if Christina is coming on in.
Damn it, Mike.
I know.
Hello.
Hi, I apologize. What happened here, and I'll explain it for the fourth time now, and fifth time to our audience who's listening on other side. We had a power surge here. There's been a big windstorm that's been happening kind of all day around here, so it knocked all the power out here for a couple of minutes. If the power does go back out, I do want to tell our audience, if the power does go back out, I will try to get it back on. If it's a quick flicker or something like that. All you have to do, if you're listening on the Revolution Radio side, I will call back into the studio as soon as I have connection. If you're listening on the Spaced Out Radio side, what I would suggest is just refresh. I'm going to keep trying to get it back on. We're going to push through this. Mother Nature is not going to shut us down, damn it. We are talking Forest Moon Paracon. And there will be no trees across the highway tomorrow, so I can lose out on my opportunity to tug on Cooper's beard. Anyways, Christina, we were talking right before the power outage that about, you know, you've traveled around to a lot of different Paracons out there. You like this one because it's a heck of a lot different. You know, when you go up and you see and you talk to people about the Paracons, especially when it's a first-time event like this, you know, were you hesitant at all? Because, you know, a lot of people are very hesitant to do the first one because it may not be successful. You know, there's going to be technical difficulties and everything like that. Or were you just excited to get up here and excited for the opportunity?
Oh, no, I was super excited. I mean, you know, even the biggest Paracons, you know, can have glitches or issues or whatever. I mean, it's just about people who are like-minded getting together and educating each other, discussing all this stuff. I mean, and the camaraderie and the friendships that are made. I mean, I have a lot of people who listen to, you know, my radio shows that were in and around the Washington and Oregon area that were like, oh my gosh, you're going to be there. That's great. You know, they would come, and they love the fact, too, that it was free. I mean, again, how many, you know, promotions for events come across your timeline, you know, or your page like mine, and like Eric said, you know, they're wanting $100, $200, $350, and but again, it's usually just all paranormal or all ufology. You don't see them mixed. I have been saying for years, like, this is what needs to be done, exactly what needs to be done. We need to have conventions and events where you kind of mix all of the fields in and the speakers in and different topics. I mean, I think that's what makes it exciting, and I think that's how we educate people, because it's somebody who might, you know, go to this event and maybe they're just into the paranormal. They're not into ufology or whatever. But they are there at the event, so they're listening to the other speakers. You never know. They might get their ears full of information, their minds full, and it might change their mind on some things.
I fully agree. And you know what? I think this has a potential to be a very, very good event, and it seems to be getting a lot of positivity leading up to it. Now, Russ, SJ, and Eric, I want you just to sit back and relax for a little bit because we only have Christina here until the top of the hour. Christina, I would love for you to go into some detail for the people who are not going to be in there, what your speech is going to be all about.
Well, I am going to be talking about connecting the paranormal fields. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the reportings that come across all the different fields, the connections between them, some of my own personal experiences, and then some of the research and cases that I've had over the years. So should be exciting.
What's going to make your speech a little bit different than, say, just someone who is thinking that all you do is go around talking to ghosts?
Well, again, I like to kind of throw in some of my own personal experiences when I go through, and are giving my lectures, depending, no matter what the topic is. Because, again, it kind of lets people kind of get to know me. And, a lot of people, they hear, oh, okay, I'm a psychic medium or a paranormal investigator, and they have no idea really who I am, why I'm even in the field, we all have a specific story or situation that brought us into these fields. And so, again, I think kind of connecting it, giving people a personal side as well, connecting it all, I think it kind of lets people know me a little bit better and not look at me that way.
How important is it for people who attend these conferences, Christina, to learn that there are so many different facets and so many different sides to the paranormal that when they get a speaker such as yourself up there who has experiences, who has knowledge, how important is it to try and make sure that they understand that you're trying to blend your stories into what they're accepting?
It's very important. And again, I think as investigators and researchers, we need to expand. I think that learning all this kind of stuff, hearing about experiences, talking to each other, we can learn so much. When I first was starting out, I was, just investigating the paranormal, and then it eventually, from my own personal experiences, led me, into ufology and interviewing abductees and contactees and my lab participants, and some of the things that I've experienced over time has just been unreal, and it's definitely interesting. And I'm looking forward to be able to at least share that information with people, and hopefully again open their eyes to there's so much more to the paranormal. When I first started investigating, the paranormal was really considered just anything that normal people didn't find, they didn't consider normal. And so ufology and everything was all blended in together, but now it's very separate, and I think that we need to kind of pull together now and unite and start sharing this information, because again, a lot of it is interesting, and a lot of it that people think are just, is something paranormal. They realize, oh my gosh, people who have been contacted or abducted have these same kinds of, reportings, like sleep paralysis, so it's very interesting. And again, if you don't kind of learn and educate yourself and, broaden your horizons, how are you really going to be a good investigator if you're not really well-rounded?
Oh, I fully agree. And you know what? I think what it does is it really defines for people when they can hear us speak publicly like this. It really defines for people that there are different avenues that people take, and that when you get the right group of people together, you can work together to try and solve the problems. Because right now, I think when a lot of people look into the paranormal, and I'm using that as an umbrella word here,
right,
they see a lot of ego. They see a lot of hiding of sources and hiding of information. They see a lot of paranormal teams out there who go collect evidence and do nothing with it, like it's just one big Pokemon Go game. And there is something more to what is going on. And for a lot of people out there, they're looking at this field and they're like, well, if they can't get their shit together, why should we support it? Why should we take them seriously? And that's where events like this take off. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And also, you know, there's, like you said, there is a lot of egos and there's a lot of drama within the paranormal field. You know, everybody thinks they're better than everybody, and, you know, people don't want to share their evidence, or they don't want to share their locations, or they think that, you know, once they go to investigate somewhere, it belongs to them and nobody else should go in and try to investigate. And I never really understood that, because I really have always been about, you know, unity between the fields. But I think that, again, having an event like this is very important. And I think that it's something new and different. And to start, I think that, again, even if it was just, you know, us and a handful of people that showed up for the first one, we will have an amazing time. And there will be a lot of very, very good and, you know, interesting information that is shared. But I definitely think that this is the start of many more to come that will be very, very successful as they continue.
I appreciate that answer. I think that was very candid and very, very honest, because that's one of the things I'm excited about, because I've got to know Eric quite a bit over the last number of months here on Space Out Radio, and he's helped me out and bailed me out of quite a few times. I've got to know Russ and SJ through Eric, and the one thing that I like about this event, and the reason why I committed to it, was there is no ego. It's kind of one of those events where you check your ego at the door. We're all here working for the same cause. As someone who has been to a lot of these Paracons, have you ever found, Christina, that when you go to these Paracons, there are some speakers that won't even talk to you because they think they're just on another level?
Lots. It gets to the point that, you know, for a while I just stopped speaking at conferences, but probably for like the last year. It was just so ridiculous. And I was seeing everything go on except really educating people. I was seeing people go, you know, and meet up to hook up, you know, or have affairs, or you get speakers that, you know, only come down for a few minutes to speak and then they leave. They don't want to be around and meet and greet anybody. It's just kind of like, really? I mean, do you think you're that important? And if this is how you treat your fans, why would they keep coming to places where you go? I mean, if they're wanting to meet you and you can't even, you know, spend some time with them, it's ridiculous. But, you know, yeah, and I love the fact that everybody that is participating are just such great people. I mean, it's been so welcoming, and everybody, like, I'm looking forward. I've not met anybody in person, but I feel like, you know, I know everybody, and it's like we're going to have like a little family reunion, like, get together. So I'm super excited.
Me too. And when you hear that, Russ and SJ, that, you know, somebody like Christina, who's been around the block when it comes to these paranormal conferences, do you like the fact that, Coop, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
What do you mean?
We're getting some feedback on your end here, man.
I'm just sitting here.
Oh, wow. Do you have your speaker on, or do you have headphones? Because it's coming through your microphone.
I'm just on my phone.
Ah, weird. Okay. Well, let's not worry about that right now then. Okay. You still look pretty. Russ and SJ, once again. Yeah, I'm all over the map tonight. That power outage really messed me up here. Russ and SJ, when you hear what Christina was saying in regards to you know, going around to different Paracons where certain people who come to speak, and all of a sudden, you know, 5 minutes after their speech, they're gone. They're right out of town, or there's ego involved. Was that something you guys thought about when you were setting up the Forest Moon?
Absolutely not, because I know Eric and I know Izzy and I don't know Christina. I haven't met her personally, but I've talked to her a couple times on messaging and Facebook, and the people that are coming to this Paracon are wonderful people that just want to get the word out, you know. And you don't find that a lot in the larger Paracons because they're so busy trying to get their own agenda out there that they don't think that these people that are coming to see them are really excited to learn, and they need to, oh God, what's the word? They need to understand that people that come to these Paracons are trying to learn new information, and they can't do it if you won't talk to them. I think it's ridiculous. Myself, I love talking to people, and I love meeting new people. So this is gonna be a great event. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you how excited I am. I haven't even been able to think straight the last few days, trying to get everything done that I wanted to get done. And yeah, we're gonna have kind of a really cool little display, So
It'll be fun.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Absolutely indeed. And Coop, actually the feedback, Russ and SJ, the feedback is coming from your line, if you don't mind. I don't know if you could turn your speaker down just a little bit. That would be wonderful. And Coop, when you heard what Christina was saying in regards to what others are like, did you do homework like that and check around to see what other events were like? Did you check to see what you wanted to make sure it was and what you wanted to make sure it wasn't?
No, because I had a focus. I already knew what I wanted. I already knew, and like most of your listeners know, some of your new ones don't. I've had Bigfoot knockings. I've dealt with alien abductees and UFOs for over 20 years. I've had my own spirit encounters, ghost encounters. I've already experienced the whole spectrum, so I knew exactly what I wanted a Paracon to be. I really didn't care what the other Paracons looked like, because that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was the whole spectrum. What I wanted was free information for the public. And my second fold with this with this organization was trying to get other paranormal groups to come out and get in one, basically get on one sheet of music on how we wanted to make the paranormal field go. And I mean, that side of it isn't really gonna, because not many other groups were interested in coming to a Paracon, because again, I think ego comes into play with some of them. But no, I already knew what my focus was, and that's what I went for. I have never been to a Paracon. I knew what I wanted to see in a Paracon, and that's what I looked at.
A lot of people in the chat rooms the last couple of nights have been asking if this is going to be recorded, and is there Wi-Fi in the building so we could possibly stream some of it live?
Unless I get a hotspot, probably not. It is going to be recorded. It is going to be put out in different venues through either YouTube or whatever. As far as the VIP roundtable, it will be recorded. But because we have paying VIP pass guests, it won't be released until like December, just to be fair with them, because they paid to go see it. But the rest of the lectures, the rest of the Paracon will be recorded, and it will be released. If we have Wi-Fi, you can barely get a cell phone signal up in Lake Tyee. It's up in the mountains, literally. So if we do have Wi-Fi by chance, then we'll find a way to do a live feed. But it will be recorded. It will be released.
I appreciate that. And hopefully it doesn't go Julian Assange on you and you get everything cut off, man. So I'm getting another question here. This one comes from Ron in the SOR Space Travelers. He is asking, I've never been to a Paracon. How do you guys do public investigations, and how do they intro the public investigation for the public?
There's not going to be a public investigation. There will be a spirit walk with Fog Paranormal. Now, okay, let's go back. Originally, we were planning a 2-day event. We had some glitches and some hiccups, and we kind of streamlined everything and made it into a long 1-day event. And personally, I think it worked out a whole lot better, and it's going to be a much better event than what we'd originally planned, just doing 1 day. Being it's a first annual, I think 1 day is more realistic. Originally we had planned on doing a public event or a public investigation, and we were going to do a drawing we were going to draw 20 names, because if you have 100 people out doing a public investigation, that's asking for chaos and that's asking for drama. So we were actually going to do a free drawing for for 20 people to go on an investigation. And that's exactly how it was advertised, as it was a free public paranormal investigation. We're going to find a known hotspot and take people to it. And that's how it was going to be advertised. Now, what we might do is in a year or two, at the next Paracon or the year after, we might look into doing it again.
Christina, what are you looking forward to the most in coming up to speak at the Forest Moon Paracon?
I think meeting everybody, hearing everybody else's lectures. I mean, I always love to listen to everybody else's lectures. I spend more time listening to people's lectures than I do running around videotaping. So I'm going to be doing both, but meeting people, hearing the lectures, and just being at the actual area, because, I mean, I've never been there. I've got family who lives all over Oregon and Washington. So I've been in Washington, Oregon many, many times, but I've never been to Concrete. So I'm super excited to check it out.
Well, if you look north, you'll see Canada, so make sure you wave at all the Canadians up there, because you're literally that close.
I know, that's what my teammate was telling me. He's like, you realize we're only 30 minutes from the Canadian border. I was like, what?
Oh,
I didn't realize it was that far. I was like, oh, okay.
You know what? Before I moved up north here last year, I lived in a town that was literally about 10 miles from the Canada-U.S. border, and it was up on a hill. And during the 4th of July, I could actually stand on my patio and watch the fireworks go from as soon as dusk hit, right until midnight, 1 o'clock. I could see as far as I could see into Washington State. I could watch all the fireworks I wanted. It was fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was quite a thrill. See, up here, we just light a couple of bottle rockets on Canada Day, open up a beer, and, go, ride a moose, and that's what we do on Canada Day here. So, it's a little bit more basic than what you guys are used to, but it's all good nonetheless. And you know what? I think you brought up an important part, Christine, and we only got about 2 minutes here before we're going to take our first break of the night, that getting to know people, getting those connections is so important for what we do, because the one thing that I have noticed in my short time being in this field with Spaced Out Radio is the connections are so important, and the right connections.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's some great people in, these fields, and all it takes is, meeting them, talking to them, and getting to know them, and it's like a connection is there forever. And, again, we have a great crew. I'm looking forward to meeting each one of you personally, giving you a hug, and having a great time.
Absolutely. Me too. And I'm sure SJ and Russ and Eric are going to be doing the same, except we need that photo, Christina. We need that
you got it.
photo.
I'm going to be there.
Oh, yeah. That is going to be strictly on my Facebook pages, that photo of Coop getting his beard tugged. I'm excited about that. We only got about 30
I'll change
seconds.
it to my profile pic.
Me too. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Got it.
Exactly. We just down to a few seconds here before we got to hop out for our first break of the night. We're talking about the Forest Moon Paracon coming up this weekend in Concrete, Washington. I'm driving the 7 hours to get there. Well, actually, it's only about 5.5, but I'm going to exaggerate. 7.5 days to get there in the next 24 hours. I will be leaving. We'll see you all then. We'll be back next hour. Christina, thank you. We'll be right back.
Looking for news beyond the mainstream news? Head to spacedoutradio.com and check out the SOR Spacewire. This is Spaced Out Radio's Eric Markham, news director for the SOR Spacewire. Daily, I will bring you intriguing stories and outlandish reports from what's going on around the world. UFO sightings, paranormal activity, conspiracies, alternative health, and so much more. And if you have news, email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with U4Cop. On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com.
Have you had an experience you can't explain? Had a run-in with ghosts, maybe Bigfoot, or seen lights in the sky? Hi, I'm Mike Schmidt from the SOR Sightlines. I'm here to investigate your sighting. Head to spacedoutradio.com and fill out a report on the Sightlines. All your information is 100% confidential, and I will help you figure out what you've been seeing. File your report, and let's find out the answers together.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, how can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit, and expect a miracle.
Strange creatures lurking in the night, the sounds of wood knocking in the forest, odd happenings right out of a fictional world. These are the reports I love. Hi there, this is author Ronald Murphy, and I would love it if you join me and Spaced Out Radio host Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month on our journey into the unknown land of cryptozoology at spacedoutradio.com. From Mothman to Frogman and everything in between. Hey, they don't call me the crypto guru for nothing.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
From British Columbia to Northern California, Pacific North Weird has Cascadia covered. Check out our feature videos at spacedoutradio.com, where I, Vincent Zunza, and my super sleuth partner Alexandra Sullivan track down the weird and strange stories from around the Pacific Northwest. From Bigfoot to Mel's Hole and everything in between. This is what makes life exciting. So why report the normal when we can report the Pacific North Weird right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Oh, there's only one way to rock. Loud and proud. In high definition. Radio 702 rocks. Las Vegas.
Have you ever had an extraterrestrial experience? One you just couldn't explain? Well, maybe I can help. Hello, I am Samantha Mullet. On the second Tuesday of each month, I will join Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio to bring a human aspect to ET contact. It's something I've lived with my entire life, and I'd love to help you understand. Let's share our experiences. The ET Experience, the second Tuesday of each month, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Jolene with Revealette Reiki and Readings, and I want you to relax. Let me help you chill out and get in touch with your body, mind, and soul. In this busy world, sometimes we need to let go, and this is where I can help. Visit my website, revealetteR&R.wix.com/Revealette
Every Saturday and Sunday night, as Dave Scott wanders aimlessly in the wilderness, you can come hang out with me, James Tyson, in Spaced Out Weekend. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, I'll take you along as we talk with some of the best experts in their fields. SpacedOutRadio.com is the place to find us. So sit down, relax, put your feet up. Enjoy the topics like the paranormal, supernatural, intuitiveness, and so much more. Hope to see you there.
Hi there, this is your psychic medium, Joanna, and I would love it if you would join us every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. With host James Tyson, we'll bring you personal psychic messages on two mediums and a large. Questions about love, life, career changes. We would love it if you would come and join us live. Call in and listen in for the experience. Allow us to open the doors to your other side. Two mediums and a large, heard only on Spaced Out Weekend at spacedoutradio.com.
Would you like to become one of our space travelers? All you have to do is click on the Space Travelers icon at spacedoutradio.com. For only $5 a month, you can get access to some great prizes, as well as private monthly shows, newsletters, and a members-only section on our website. Become a space traveler today.
Do you have a topic or a guest that you'd like to hear on Spaced Out Radio? Let us know at spacedoutradio.com, where you can sign up to become a Space Traveler member today. Or you can find us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on our Facebook page, Spaced Out Radio Show. Welcome back for the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you along for the ride, as we appreciate all of you taking the time to join us on the mighty SOR. I'm stepping out of this chair after tonight. I got to start making the trek down to Washington State. Uncle Jimbo, James Tyson, will be filling in for me tomorrow night. He's going to be broadcasting live from Concrete, Washington. Summer Paradis will be our guest. We're going to talk New England hauntings tomorrow night on Spaced Out Radio. If you're listening in on Revolution Radio, remember, the Double R Machine is a donation station financed by you, the valued listener. Do us a favor, visit freedomslips.com and donate today. Over in the Space Out Radio side, Bill Cardwell has set the password for tonight. Colloquy is your password. Colloquy is the one you use. So if somebody's not an SOR member and they ask you, hey, what's that password for? Your words to them, very slyly, is exactly. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Instagram, I can be followed at Dave Scott, SOR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. Tune us in on TuneIn. Download this show and others on iTunes. And our website is spacedoutradio.com. While there, you can sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is only $5 a month. I highly suggest you do that. Read up on our latest blogs. Check out Eric Markham's SOR Space Wire. You can listen to Bumblefoot, or if you've had a sighting, can't explain it, Mike Schmidt, our intrepid investigator, has the Sightlines report running. Fill out a Sightlines report. Your personal information is 100% confidential. Tonight we are talking about the Forest Moon Paracon that happens this weekend in Washington State. I have humbly been asked and humbly accepted to be a speaker at this show. Joining us tonight, Eric Cooper, Russ and S.J. Wells, organizers of this event. Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
We had Christina George, who is traveling from California up to Washington State. She's stuck in the middle of Oregon, literally in the middle of nowhere right now. But she had to leave because she's got a big drive ahead of her tomorrow, so we thank Christina for coming back on the show. Now, I do have to ask, are there going to be any little gnomes around there, Eric? Because you know me and gnomes, and I'm already getting harassed around here about these damn gnomes, because you know I don't like them.
We do not have gnomes in Concrete.
Oh,
dwarves, maybe.
Dwarves?
There are no gnomes.
What the hell do you got dwarves there for?
I don't know. They like the woods.
Well, you know what? It's all good, and all good at least. In the first hour, we were talking a little bit about putting this thing together. And, Eric, you're going to be speaking as well as one of the keynote speakers at this event. What are you going to be speaking on?
Oh, I got my arm twisted. Because basically, I put together a presentation on the history and the present of ufology and abduction.
Pictures of this. Go ahead.
And I gave the presentation for Area 51 Cafe when we were running Area 51 Cafe. And SJ says, Eric, you need to give this presentation at Paracon. I was like, oh, God, there goes my arm. Yeah, my arm's getting twisted. So, yeah, I kind of got thrown into it, which is fine because, like I've said before, I've done ufology and abduction for over 20. And so it's kind of my area of specialty. So it's not a big deal. And since we only have one abduction speaker, we kind of needed another ufologist to cover UFOs, not just abduction. So that will be my presentation. Will be basically the beginning of ufology and abduction and where it's going from here.
Why do you think it's important to get that message out that abduction and ufology is being so important these days?
Well, because one, anytime an abductee, comes up with what's going on with them, and they approach a paranormal group, and I've said this in other shows, I approached 2,000 different groups to form a network like a couple of years ago. And out of 2,000, I would say maybe, and that's a big maybe, 50 of them out of 2,000 even knew anything about ufology because it wasn't their field. Because paranormal to them was nothing but spirits and hauntings. I cringe every time I hear that. No, and Forest Moon being a crisis group, understandably there's crisis in a haunting or an entity or a spirit attack, but there's just as much crisis, if not more, and I say that loosely, in an abductee. And an abductee doesn't know, they wake up with a bruise that they don't know where it came from and a nosebleed and, some of the signs and symptoms of abduction. And you got to look at the connections. You got to look at the big picture because ghosts and spirits can cause bruising. They can cause sleep paralysis. So a lot of the signs between a spirit attack and an abduction are similar. We got to look at all of them, combined. But they'll go to a paranormal group, and the paranormal group will go, "Oh, that's a demon attack," or no, it's not. It's an abduction. And I can't tell you how many abductees have come to me not knowing they're an abductee, and you have to explain to them what an abduction is, and that's traumatic in itself. That's why, to me, it's important.
And you know what? Your topic, really, Eric, couldn't come at a more important time because you have an election down there going on November 8th. And if Hillary Clinton gets in, I have to tell you, the whole John Podesta connection to Hillary and his connection to the field of ufology is totally going to be brought up in major importance here, because she literally, if she gets in, has promised John Podesta that she will break open the UFO files just as long as it does not harm national security. So your topic is coming at really a perfect time with the election just 2 weeks away.
Yeah, 2 weeks away. Exactly. But is she going to come out and talk about it? I really have my doubts. Honestly, I do. I'll be surprised. And hopefully I am pleasantly surprised. But I don't think she will.
Well, whether or not she does or does not, that was part of John Podesta's contract in leaving the White House to join her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I guess what I'm saying here is this could be a hot level of discussion, considering if she gets in, especially what has come through on WikiLeaks recently about John Podesta's emails, whether it's to George Knapp or Tom DeLonge, the former Blink-182 singer, and the connection to the field of ufology. This has the ability to really explode in the public eye.
It could. It very, very, very well could. Here's my other concern, and here's why I do see my topic important, is I have seen a spike. And I've heard from other investigators as well that abduction seems to be increasing. Now, is it that abductees are getting more comfortable about coming out, talking about their experiences? Is it, I'm not sure. I'm looking for patterns. But I've heard from others that, one, UFO sightings are on the rise, and so are abductions. So it's important for people to know what the signs and symptoms of abduction are so that they can say, oh, hell, what's going on?
And Russ and SJ, we bring you in on this topic. How important is it, being so close to the election with what I just said to Eric, that we get some serious talk on UFOs?
Actually, I think it's very important because there's been so many naysayers out there, and there's so many experiencers, they can't deny it anymore. I mean, it's just been pushed and pushed back towards the government and opening up about it and things like that. And I think this is really important. It's a good time, like you were saying, for this to happen.
Yeah. It's not, and a lot of people go, well, if aliens are real, if this stuff is real. No, there is no if. It's real.
Yeah.
I really believe that we've been in contact, in collusion, or I should say the upper echelon of our government has been in collusion with aliens for quite some time, with an agreement that they can take us and experiment.
Yeah, 1953 Eisenhower, but I'm not going to go into that because that's part of my presentation.
I have no problem with that. Yeah. So it's very important that this happens. I mean, if this is what has been said, I'm not up on all that. I'm pretty much in my field, but do believe the UFOs, have seen them. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Have actually had our own experience where we had loss of time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I've always I want full disclosure. Something's going on in our skies, and we the people have the right to know what the hell's going on in our own damn country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be my topic at the next Paracon in 2017 will be alien species.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if Markham has talked to you or not, Dave, but when we were discussing alien abduction at S4 last week, when I was bringing up the different signs and symptoms, he's met about 60% of them, if not more.
Yeah,
so he
him and I had to talk about that the other night.
So, I mean, it opened his eyes up just when we were talking about the signs of abduction and some of the things he's been through. So, I mean, and that's just one of our own people. Imagine what the public's going to see if they come out. And that's why your topic in itself is extremely important, in that you're bringing up to the experiencer after and that's why you're last, is because after they've heard if they stay around all day and they hear all the different lectures, they're going to hear the signs and symptoms. They're going to hear from an abductee himself. And then you're going to tie it all together with the experiencer in that, look, you're not alone. You're not by yourself. You're a key factor into the paranormal by coming out and talking about it. So the whole Paracon, and that's why I designed it this way, is so they can hear that there's various aspects of the paranormal, and they all tie together. So I planned this Paracon this way so they can see the whole spectrum, and that's why I did it that way. So ideally, because I run a community group up here in Concrete as well, and I push paranormal here and there. I don't force it down anybody's throat, but every once in a while I do throw an update. And I tell them in the community group, look, if you've had something strange happen, you don't have to, post it under this post. Contact me, directly. And I do get here and there, I did see a Bigfoot. Yeah, I did see a UFO. So there's still, people out there that don't want to talk about it for fear of ridicule. And they need to understand that they can come out and talk about it, and they're not alone.
Getting back to the political side of things, Eric, Perrier Darrell is asking a question in the SOR Space Traveler. She is asking, who do you feel would be more qualified at handling a disclosure situation, Trump or Hillary, and why?
I don't like either one of them. I'm voting Jill Stein. That's just me personally. But if I had to choose between the two, and I hate saying it, it would be Hillary. Hillary's a politician. She's been a politician since Bill was president. She ran the presidency. Come on now, folks. You all know she was the president. Bill wasn't. Trump, he's a businessman. He's a businessman that's bankrupted how many times and been sued how many times? Do you really think he can budget this country? Do you really think he can run this country? I don't.
It's
He's
not,
not gonna make
hold
you-
on. It's not a political side
I know.
on who wins. It's just a question. You know,
I know.
because I know when you get fired up, man. You know, it's like pulling the chainsaw string, man. You know, so I got to put you back into idle.
And I understand that, but Hillary, hands down, would be the one to come out with disclosure, because Trump ain't gonna know where to go with it. That's my point.
Russ and SJ, who do you think and why?
I agree. I think Clinton would be probably the one that would come out with it. Trump, I don't think he knows how to tie his shoes, so, you know, there you go. That's my opinion.
Okay, all politicians lie. Every damn one of them. I don't trust any of them. I don't like any of them. I wouldn't vote for any of them that's running for. I'm ready to come to Canada, bro.
Seriously.
Oh, you don't want to come here, man. I tell you, you don't want to come here. You know,
if it has to be, I think it's already a done deal. It's Hillary. That's who I would trust. I wouldn't trust Donald Trump with a potato gun.
Well, you know what? I would love to see Cooper with Donald Trump's hair and Coop's beard. That's what I would like to see.
Oh, God, no.
That's what I would love to see. You know,
I think Izzy might have something to say about that.
but I do have to say this. You know, politics aside, okay, on who's done what or whatever. That's not really the issue here. If we talk about full-fledged disclosure for a moment here, I really think that you have to side with Hillary. If you are a UFO person and you want disclosure, you have to side with Hillary and vote for Hillary because of the John Podesta factor and the fact that any type of disclosure is apparently in his contract that he signed off on to join her campaign. So if you're a UFO nut, you don't have a choice. I mean, realistically, it's choosing the lesser between two evils. But I mean, you come up here, and you know what? It's no better right now. I can tell you that. We have a guy up here who just wants to spend a bunch of money. He's ruined an economy already in Alberta. He wants to spend literally hundreds of millions on immigration. In the meantime, we have our main oil leader in Fort McMurray burning over the summer, and he's only offered a quarter of the money to help rebuild that entire city. It's ridiculous, you know. So we see it happening up here. But I will say this, without getting into the whole political realm. I think it's funny when I read on social media and the vile and the vitriol that is happening. It's exciting. It really is, you know. But I find it funny when a lot of my Facebook friends mention, you know, everything, the word socialism. And I have to, and I just want to clarify something for our lovely neighbors to the south. Canada is a socialist country. All your allies in Europe are socialist countries. Yeah. Socialism isn't that bad. Okay?
No.
Socialism is there to help people. There's a huge difference between socialism and communism. Please learn the difference, because everybody in the South thinks Canadians are pretty good people, and yet we're all socialists. So that's the only thing that I want to clarify in the realm of politics around here. So moving on towards the Paracon here. Tell us a little bit about your speaker on Bigfoot, Eric.
Oh, Tyler Allen Standing Bear. He moved to concrete, I guess, about 2-3 years ago. Before he was in concrete, he was in the what pass was he on? He's been dealing with Bigfoot since before he moved here. And he is Native American. He has Native American ancestry. And so he knows all the stories and legends of Bigfoot through his Native American ancestry as well. What he's found with his Bigfoot, he just recently had surgery, so he hasn't been able to go up on the mountains. But he was up in the mountains camping and hiking all the time, every weekend. He was gone. And the more he went out, the more they learned who he was, his smell, his movements. The more they started coming out and interacting. They'd throw rocks at him. They would playfully, not trying to hurt him or nothing. But he learned that 3 to 6 months of constantly going to the same spot where he knew they were. And I mean, he's got Bigfoot tracks. He's the perfect example of a Bigfoot researcher. And he runs the North Cascade Bigfoot Research Association. And it's also on Facebook. But no, he was just the perfect candidate for lecturing about Bigfoot. And now he's here, and he knows up in the Baker Lake area where we're going to be. And Lake Tahoe, where we're actually having the Paracon, has their own Bigfoot sightings. And so, yeah, we're right in the heart of Bigfoot country, where he actually goes out and interacts with them. So,
I'll tell you a little story here that happened literally about 40 minutes before the show. Mike Schmidt, who runs our SOR Sightlines report, he's sitting right beside me during this show. And anyways, we have this thing where we want to start our own Bigfoot group up here, because I know it's out in this area. There's been sightings, there's been incidents, and so Mike being a hunter, we kind of grounded him down and kind of put him into a little bit of a trance here. And he actually started, I put some Bigfoot sounds on YouTube, and he actually started channeling with a Bigfoot up on the mountain here.
Cool.
Yeah, he didn't even know what the hell's going on. He's so tired right now and so a little bit out of it and sore, and he started feeling sick afterwards. I said, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. So we got tipped off, and we're going to keep that spot quiet where we need to go. But we got tipped off on where we're supposed to go make some contact with Sasquatch way up here. So
you gotta set up a gifting spot.
Well, you know what? That goes back to that story I mentioned with Ronald Murphy last night. Mm-hmm. You know, with the beer. That's Mike. And
okay.
And it's funny, in the channeling session, he asked, "Can we bring you anything as a peace offering?" And you're not going to believe what the Bigfoot asked for.
An ale.
No. Marshmallows.
A banana? Are you serious?
Marshmallows.
Okay.
But we figured out why. Because the area where this Sasquatch told us to go to make contact, just down the road a little bit, is like a Scouts Canada cabin for outdoor camping, which means when the scouts and the kids are there, okay, what do you make s'mores, you sit around the fire, you roast marshmallows, and literally you're right in the dense wilderness. So what would it be for a Sasquatch when those kids go into bed in the cabin at night to all of a sudden go out there, maybe test the sticks, you know, see what's going on, get a taste of that and think, that's pretty good.
Makes perfect sense.
Eric Markham puts in this in the Space Out Radio chat room. Did they ask for toilet paper? No, that's what rabbits are for. Huh? Yes, Eric. They asked for 2-ply. That's what they did. None with the fancy little embroidered flowers on it. Just regular plain 2-ply. That's what it is. I'm just kidding there, but. That's just the way it is. I think it's going to be a lot of fun about Bigfoot. How much Bigfoot activity do you guys get in Concrete or in the vicinity, Russ and SJ?
Well, actually, I think we experienced our own little Bigfoot thing right above Concrete, up by the old, what do you call it, the granite crushing plant when they had the concrete plant.
Devil's Tower.
Yeah, Devil's Tower. Well, that's what everybody calls it. Because there's so much activity going on up there. But I think the Bigfoot is really big in that area. I've heard so many people tell me, oh, yeah, I got a picture of a Bigfoot track. And we actually have a friend that has a picture of a Bigfoot track up by Baker Lake, and that's right above concrete. So it doesn't surprise me that that there would be a lot of activity up there.
Yeah, and this is not just a fly-by-night friend. 30 years.
Yeah, I've
so
known this guy for 30 years.
Integrity is there. I mean, yeah.
And there's an interesting story about some of the people that live up here. Some of the old timers live up here. They believe that you're supposed to, and I've heard this from two different people that didn't know each other, but there's some of them actually leave a saucer of milk outside their door for Bigfoot. So I mean, there's a lot of legends up here as far as what some of the locals do for Bigfoot. So you're in the heart of Bigfoot country coming up here.
Eric, can you give us some of those legends from your area?
That's really the only one I know off the top of my head. And I found that interesting because you do that for fairies as well. And so you're yeah. Is there a similarity in there? Yeah, there is. Because that's fairy lore as well, is leaving saucers of milk out for the fairies. And they do it for Bigfoot as well. So you're talking paranormal connections. There's more paranormal connections than most people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about concrete for a little bit when we discuss the spiritual aspect of the town. Now, SJ, you had mentioned that it is a very, very haunted area. What makes it so haunted?
Well, our belief is that the reason it's so haunted is because, one, the town itself sits in kind of on a corner of two lakes, which is, a lot of people understand the theory that water produces energy, even in the slightest amount. So that can cause, the activity to go up spiritually. Then there's also the fact that concrete sits on a deposit of different kinds of minerals, limestone, quartz, all kinds of things, and we think that has a lot to do with it too. So this town actually is very haunted, and we have investigated pretty much the whole downtown area, and so that's what we're going to talk about on our walk too. So, yeah.
Russ, would you like to chime in on how haunted that area is?
Well, I can tell you that, oh God, at least 5 ghosts that I know of in different locations, or maybe it's the same one that kind of roams around. It's extremely haunted. You've had so much history up there. There's been a lot of injuries, deaths that occurred with the dam systems that they put up in that area. That's where the town of Concrete got its name, is from producing the concrete for the dams.
Mm-hmm. And 3 different dams up there.
And plus the logging industry was big, and plus there's been a lot of violence in the area, period. Just from, just normal everyday folks. But most of these hauntings that we've noticed are just normal everyday people, that just hang out where they love to go. Mac is one of them at
the Hub Tavern.
The Hub Tavern. We had reports of activity. They had a pool ball. It was a cue ball, actually, and I watched the video, and there was I couldn't detect any tampering with the tape. And this doggone thing just disappeared. Mm-hmm. It was there, and then it disappeared. So we investigated the place, and Sandy probably got one of the most awesome photos ever that I've seen. Completely transparent. Half of him was in the pool table. Half of him was out. It was like he was standing in the pool table. And when we disclosed this evidence to the owner, we didn't even have to tell him who it was.
Well, we didn't know.
We didn't know who it was. Mm-hmm. And they went, "That's Mac." Mm-hmm. And he loved that pool table. He's sitting in that area all the time, and the reportings were that Mac haunted the place, and doggone it,
I got a picture of him.
She got a picture of Mac. So it's extremely haunted. People, they'll enjoy the little boy that haunts the hardware store in the bank. It's just it's it gets to you emotionally because you're dealing with a little child, but he's there.
Yeah.
And then there's some bad characters too. So there's a mix. It's going to be a great time. It's very informative and it's real. Yeah. It ain't make believe.
Yep.
Robert White is in our chat room tonight, in the Space Out Radio chat room, and Russ and SJ, he says to say hello to both of you and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, he's a good friend. He's from Australia, and Robert's been listening to us on our Dark Moon Rising Radio since it began a few years ago.
He better give Amber a kiss for me too.
Yeah, his wife is cool too.
Excellent. And Robert White, in case you don't know, on Facebook we also have the SOR Australasia group out there for all of our good listeners listening down under right now. So I hope you take the time to join that and spread the word for any of your Aussie friends down there to join the group and tell them that, hey, right at prime time, which is, I believe, right now about 3:30, 4:30 in the afternoon tomorrow. We hope that you help spread the word that this show is on the air right at prime time for you guys. So appreciate you guys from down under listening in. That goes for you too, Aussie Steve and Aussie Andy. Thank you for coming on in. Always appreciate the Aussie crowd coming in.
Yep.
When you guys talk about the round table that will happen at the end of all of the speakers, explain to a lot of people here who are not going to be in attendance what you mean by doing the VIP roundtable, Eric.
It's set up exactly the way you do your end of the month roundtable. It's going to be a list of 20 questions that I've come up with. Basically, a mix of, if I'm a beginner and don't know anything about the paranormal, what do I want to know? And then I add some more advanced questions that, as a paranormal investigator, you would know. And it's basically, I'm going to ask questions of the panel. Each one's going to have an answer. I have like 2 minutes to answer. And if any of our VIP ticket holders have questions, they take priority because they paid to be there. And we only open it up to 25 people. That way it makes it a little more personal. And because of the space that we're going to be in, that's about all we can hold anyway. But I wanted to keep it at a minimum so that the first ones that bought tickets, it was more personal. They actually got to, rub elbows with the speakers. They got to ask the questions, get the questions answered. And the ones that bought tickets, so far, we only have 10 left out of 25. And they're all very excited. They're traveling, some of them a couple hours away, 3 hours away, and they can't wait. I get messages from them every day. Oh, we can't wait. Oh, 2 more days. Oh, 3 more days. And so, yeah, it's going to be a very excitable crowd that's going to be watching the roundtable. And we are keeping it recordings at a minimum because it wouldn't be fair for the ones that paid to be there to have it aired right away. That's why I'll wait till December for anyone to release it. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's in a restaurant. Everyone's gonna eat dinner. The actual Paracon itself is going from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then we start the roundtable at the restaurant in Concrete at 8 to 10. And then from there, we go right to Fog Paranormal, SJ and Russ, into the Spirit Walk.
Russ and SJ, take us through the Spirit Walk, if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, we're just basically going to start in front of the Resource Center, Community Resource Center on Main Street, near the closest point near the downtown area. And we're going to start and tell people a little bit about what we know about concrete and why we feel it's so haunted. And then we'll go into each building, not into, but talk about each building that we investigated there and what we discovered while we were there, not only in the buildings, but also on the street. We had several experiences on the street while we were just actually accidentally recording a couple of them. So there was, the bank building, and the Cascade Supply building, and all these buildings, they butt up against each other. And so one of our theories about this town is that these ghosts go from one building to the next, because we've captured the spirits, say, from one building in another building. And yeah, there's a lot of ghostly activity going on in the town. And so that's what we're going to talk about, and tell them a little bit about some of our more scarier moments, and a little bit just of the average everyday kind of haunting. What else, Russ?
Well, there's the black dog or the black wolf that was in the town after our encounter at Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
Which Devil's Tower is more than, I don't know, 2 miles maybe above concrete.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of things have happened there. There's different types of activity. There's active hauntings. There's residual. And then there's imprints. The buildings just soak up energy, and they kind of shout out to you, and it's not necessarily haunted. It's just that the buildings, like a big recorder playing back some stuff.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating town. It really is.
It is. It's got a lot of great history, a lot of hauntings, and a lot of, like, Eric was saying, a lot of UFO stuff going on up there, a lot of Bigfoot stuff. So you can't disappoint yourself if you want to go to Concrete, Washington. Believe me, there's a lot if you're into this stuff.
A lot of people who go on these paranormal walks, they expect to see spirits and ghosts. They think they just materialize out of nowhere just because you're on a paranormal walk. Do you think that will happen while you're taking the tour?
Well, the kind of the tagline that I put on our walk is that when the lights go out and the streets get quiet, the ghosts come out and play. Well, I'm not gonna say anything on the air about what one of the experiences that we had on the sidewalk when we were investigating one of the buildings up there, but I will reveal it on the walk, and it's actually pretty scary. So,
you can't you can't tease us like that, because majority of our audience is not going to be able to make it there. Come on, fill us in. Yeah. Tease it. Come on! I'm going to prod you here. I've got the prodding stick. One of Joe's poking sticks. I got it out.
Okay. Okay. Well, we were investigating the Concrete Theater, which is about midway on the main street, and I happened to walk outside with the ladies that were with us. They were just kind of friends of ours, and one of the ladies owned or managed the theater. And I walked outside, and I didn't realize that I still had my audio recorder on. And we're standing there talking about one of the ladies' dogs that was running around, and we called him the mayor because he thought he owned the sidewalk. It was just funny. Well, when I went back to listen to the audio recording, I noticed something very strange. It was a very deep, growly voice saying, "I will kill you, I will kill them." And it just went on like three times. It repeated itself. And when I listened to that, I was like, "Oh my God, what the heck is that?" Because there was nobody around. It was just us ladies, and it was definitely a man's voice. So deep, growly, horrible voice. Yeah. So that's one of the things that happened. And then Russ was talking about the wolf dog that we saw, and that's a whole other story. That's a long story about Devil's Tower when we went up there. So
just remember, concrete's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
Oh, now you're going all Mandela effect on us there.
Exactly.
Seriously though, does that type of experience surprise you, SJ, considering, as you all have put it, that concrete has a very violent and blustery past?
It doesn't surprise me, but actually, most of the spirits that we encountered, there was only one that, besides the thing on whatever that was on the sidewalk, there was only one encounter in the Concrete Theater of a guy that just, with the energy that he had, I could feel it, and then most of the other people even could feel it, but doesn't have abilities that just wasn't a nice person. And Russ came up with a name for him, and we never have really been able to find out if that's fact or not. But the name, who was telling us that they thought that they had heard that name before. So, yeah, the guy was not very nice, and so some of the encounters we had were not good, and it doesn't surprise me because there was prostitution up there was murders up there, the people dying, building the dams, logging, you name it. I mean, there's just a lot of bad history in that area up there.
Yeah, and, the thing of it, you mentioned before, people are going to be expecting to see a ghost. That isn't always a good thing.
No.
Yeah, everybody's, they're friendly and all this stuff. You get angry ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it for a long time. I said, they can't harm you. That nothing, because I'd never been harmed in any way.
Yeah, that's after almost 40 years.
And then one night, it changed my opinion. It changed a lot of things for me. It actually scared me to the point where I thought I would never do this again. I mean, it was that terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to take my own pill. I had to follow my own advice and check my damn fear at the door, and go find out what this thing wanted. But that's where a lot of people get the misunderstanding is, I want to see a ghost. I want to see a ghost. And when they do see a ghost, they don't know how to frickin' react.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I hope they do.
I hope they do. I hope we do.
Yeah.
And you know what? That reaction that you mentioned, that is actually part of my speech for the people who will be going, who have never had an experience before. And trust me, I'm going to be up all night after this show tonight, making sure that my speech is fully ready yet. I'm going to be honest, I've erased it twice because I hated it. It's the ADD in me and the perfectionist in me. But you're absolutely right, Russ, that a lot of people, they just want the experience. They don't care if it's good, bad, benevolent, malevolent, whatever you want to call it. They just want to feel something. They're like, hey, we're on a ghost hunt, even though it's a ghost walk. I want to see some ghosts. I want to know what it's like to see chairs moving across the room, or get shoved or poked in the head, or, have my pants pulled down, or whatever it could be. That's what they want to see. And it really isn't like that, is it, Russ?
No, it's not. And a lot of people, they see the movies, the paranormal movies, which I see, and I think they're quite good. The Exorcist, I love it. I could watch it over and over again. But in reality, when you do a paranormal investigation, it's about, I don't know, if you do one for, say, 12 hours, 11 and a half hours of boredom, 30 minutes of sheer terror.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're constantly creeping around like Elmer Fudd hunting a rabbit. You're trying to be quiet. I don't know why in the world we ever do that. You got to be quiet. They know you're there.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's a lot of interesting aspects to ghost hunting that folks just don't know. And that's what this Paracon's going to do. We're going to educate people. We're going to let them know the proper ways, the safe ways, letting authorities know where you're at, what you're doing, getting permission to be on that property. These are all very important things if you don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
I hear you. And SJ, what do you think about what Russ just said? That you got to be prepared. You have to be cautious. You have to be, really feeling good about yourself in order to have these experiences. But you also got to be prepared that it could be dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's probably one of our main topics. It goes because we're going to be talking about Ghostology 101 and the basics about investigations and things like the dangers and safety. Things like that. And I think these are all vital, very vital things that people need to know, because a lot of people think, I'll just grab a camera and run out to the local abandoned building. And what they don't realize is those are abandoned buildings. You walk on some of those floors and you're going to fall through.
They're abandoned for a reason.
Yeah. That means the wood is rotting, the stairs might be collapsing, and you're going to take one step in the middle of that stairwell and it's going to go down and you're going to get hurt. And one thing that we emphasize when we're doing an investigation, and we train our people at Fog Paranormal. We're in the process of training some new people, and we are adamant that they do not go into any room or any building where the ceiling's collapsing or the stairs look kind of shaky, or the floors look pitted or rotted, because I don't want anybody hurt. And that's one of the things we'll talk about during our presentation. I mean, one of the real main topics that we'll be talking about. So.
Well, a lot of people don't understand the seriousness of this, and Eric has heard me, and our audience has heard me many times on this show, SJ, state that a lot of these paranormal groups out there right now, they're acting more like this is a video game or some reality game in playing with spirits, rather than trying to do real progressive research. Notice I didn't use the word science, because I hate that word when it comes to the paranormal. Okay, but a lot of people don't understand that there is danger to it. Never mind the buildings you go in, but you don't know what you are dealing with. So you may have a little child come across your EVPs that says hello, but in the meantime, that child could be disguised as one badass spirit who's ready to literally kick your ass because he's figured out how to do physical contact on the other side.
Exactly. And that's why we do investigations, to make sure what we are dealing with. Our goal is always to try and match up what we get as evidence with research that we do historically, because we want to see if we have a collation of the evidence and the fact, As far as safety goes, people are watching too much TV, as far as I'm concerned. They watch these paranormal TV shows where they're going into all these abandoned buildings and they're safe. Well, what they don't realize is the production crew and everything else is checking out all this stuff before these guys even go into the buildings, or they go into a cemetery or whatever. Everything is checked out before they ever go there. It's not just something they just do on a whim, So that's what we're going to educate people about. It is, it really irritates me sometimes to listen or to actually read on Facebook some of the stuff that people come across with, because obviously they haven't done their research, and for one, and they probably haven't done a lot of investigations, because I tell you, even after all the years that Russ and I have done this, thousands of investigations, every day we learn something new. Every single day.
I put it this way here, in all the years that I've been doing this, I'm still an apprentice in the master's workshop. There's so much more for me to learn.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this a long time.
Exactly.
Eric Cooper, I'm curious your opinion in regards to that, because you and I have had so many conversations, both on the air, more so off the air, in regards to this. What SJ and Russ are saying is they want to teach people that the paranormal and investigating ghosts and spirits, it's not, or it shouldn't be something that you're using for an activity for fun.
No, not at all. You should be, for one, you should be there to help the spirit as well as your client. And that's exactly what SJ and Russ do. And that's why I have no problem endorsing FOG. And it's hard to find groups that see it that way. You look at paranormal TV, and a lot of these groups out there emulate what they see on TV. They go out there and they poke and prod. They take Joe's pointy stick and they poke the spirit. They sit there and they cuss the spirit out. Bear in mind, this spirit was alive at one point in time. And I always point at the movie The Others. That is always my example of pretty much how a ghost sees you. You're the one intruding on their house or business or property. They're not intruding on yours. And I like the way SJ and Russ do EVPs in that they go in and they'll ask questions. What were you doing when you died? Or, did you work here? Were you employed here at one point in time? They ask real questions. They don't sit there and poke and prod. They don't sit there and cuss out the spirit or, whatever it is. And that's exactly how it should be taken. Not let's go out there and kick some butt and, rile it up and piss it off. And that's not how it's done. But that's what society and TV show you, so that's how they're going to emulate.
I think you bring up some very, very valid points. We have about 4 minutes here before we got to hop out for our final break of the night here on Spaced Out Radio, as we have Eric Cooper, Russ, and S.J. Wells, the organizers of Forest Moon Paracon, which happens this weekend in Concrete, Washington. Eric, I would like to conclude with you here, or wrap up this hour with you here. We see a lot of things going on in the paranormal aspect, in the paranormal field, that has caused a lot of tension. Are you going to be bringing attention to that, just like Russ and SJ are, when it comes to the ghost hunting side? Are you going to be bringing that type of education to your chat as well, that this isn't about fun and games? Yes, it's cool to see a UFO. Yes, some people think it's cool to see aliens. I know I do. Okay, I'm looking forward to the next time. But it's still a very, very serious topic of something that you should be concerned about.
It's a very serious topic because in my research I've done, and you hear people say there's good species out there. Well, I kind of walk the line on that because I see more negative species than I do good. So do you really want to see something that's going to kill you, or see something that might take you and you're never coming back? I know you jump on the UFO. We've had that talk.
I'm gone. I am so gone, and we're getting Markham too.
Exactly. Yeah, Markham's gone too. But me, no. I don't trust aliens. I don't like them. I have nothing good to say about them. That's my perspective.
Hold on a second here. You got to come cuddle with Dave's aliens here. Dave's aliens have been pretty good. You bring the beard, they will get all glorified over the beard. And them ETs are going to give you the king's chair in their ship. They're going to give you the captain's seat. They're not all bad, man.
If I can fly the triangle, then I might be all about it. I don't know.
Come on, they're going to give you a front seat in the triangle. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay. Absolutely.
And real quick, the other side of it is with the abduction. I don't know if any abductees that have had a glorious encounter. So, yeah, when it comes to the crisis side of it, I see abductees as traumatized as the haunting side. So when you're dealing with a crisis, both sides of the spectrum are equally traumatized. If there's nothing else you can say about that. And what can you do for them? Let them know they're not alone, and find them. And that's another project I'm working on, is trying to find a network of therapy groups of abductees around the world to send them to, without having to pay an arm and a leg. Because you have therapists that take advantage, and yeah, sure, you can come and sit in my group for $100 a month. No, that's not what it's about.
$100, you get off cheap. You know what they do with counseling up here? The first question counselors ask you up here is, how much do you make? Because their rates are on a sliding scale with your gross annual income.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I tell you. Don't like it? Don't want to be around it? That's why I have you people in this radio show.
Exactly.
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 I'm going to get you guys all to hold on, because we are literally seconds here from going to our commercial break here. Right there it is. Forest Moon Paranormal Talk continues right after this on the mighty SOR.
The SOR Sightlines is a place for you to find answers to your strange experiences. Hi there, this is Mike Schmidt. If you have had an encounter with ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, ETs, or anything else that doesn't make sense, head to spacedoutradio.com and file a Sightlines report. All information you give is 100% confidential, and I will personally help you find the answers you need. SOR Sightlines, your answers are a click away.
Greetings and salutations, space travelers, from the Chronicles of the Unknown team.
What is Chronicles of the Unknown? I keep hearing about this thing.
It's a new paranormal reality TV show based right here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Follow our team as we uncover claims of activity on the Caribou Gold Rush Trail. You can also follow us here every third Monday, where two members of our team will be available to answer your questions. We'll give you some equipment updates and some of our experiences on the road, right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with U4Cop. On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com to the final Monday of every month from Butch Witkowski's Strange Days.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, how can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit, and expect a miracle.
This is your medium, Joanna, from Spaced Out Weekend, 2 mediums and a large. I would love it if you would come and join us with host James Tyson every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. Together, we will take your calls and your questions live. Our goal is to provide you with a positive outlook on deep questions that you may have. Questions regarding love, relationships, money, or whatever else is on your mind. Come and check us out at spacedoutradio.com.
Have you checked out the SOR Spacewire at spacedoutradio.com yet? Every day we post the latest stories regarding the weird, strange, and completely unbelievable. From cryptid and UFO sightings to the conspiracy world, we tackle it all. Hi there, I'm Eric Markham, Space Out Radio's news director for the SOR Spacewire. And if you have a story, I want to hear it. Email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Become more intimate and interactive with Spaced Out Radio. Join our Space Travelers Club with your new membership. For $5 a month, we'll provide you with special access to the website, monthly prize draws from books to psychic readings, along with monthly newsletter, private interviews, and more. Sign up today to be part of Spaced Out Radio's experience.
Every month on Spaced Out Radio, we look into the deep and dark reports of cryptids roaming around the world with me, Rob Morphy from Cryptopia.us. I would love it if you would join me and host Dave Scott as we delve into the most arcane stories and reports regarding creatures of the unknown. My job is to hunt down the details and bring the evidence forward to you. These aren't your regular Bigfoot stories I'm talking about either. You can find out more about crypto history at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Strange creatures lurking in the night, the sounds of wood knocking in the forest, odd happenings right out of a fictional world. These are the reports I love. Hi there, this is author Ronald Murphy, and I would love it if you join me and Spaced Out Radio host Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month on our journey into the unknown land of cryptozoology at spacedoutradio.com. From Mothman to Frogman and everything in between. Hey, they don't call me the crypto guru for nothing.
Did you know that Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi, it's James Tyson from Spaced Out Weekend. Every Saturday and Sunday night, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, you can join me and my guests for some great chatter about what's going on out in the universe, or even in that dark part of the basement you really don't want to go back into. Well, let's find the answers to your experiences together. So come on up to Uncle Jimbo's cabin on the weekend. For more information, look us up at spacedoutradio.com.
Would you like to connect with us on Spaced Out Radio? Head to spacedoutradio.com to check out the latest shows, guests, and sponsors. And don't forget to sign up for the Space Travelers Club. You'll find all you need at spacedoutradio.com. Welcome back to Space Out Radio tonight. Final hour is underway. We appreciate all of you being with us tonight as we take a little bit of a relaxing night. I'm making the trek down to Washington State tomorrow, so I will not be on the air. Uncle Jimbo, James Tyson from Space Out Weekend, will be filling in for me. His guest will be Summer Paradis from New England Hauntings. We're going to talk about some real East Coast hauntings tomorrow night, as James will be chatting away from Washington State as we do the show live from there. It's going to be a good one. Hope you all decide to tune in. I will be back on Monday night. Butch Witkowski will be our guest. Strange Days Indeed is back, and we look forward to Butch chatting away once again for his monthly appearance on this show. Remember, if you are a listener on Revolution Radio, the Double R Machine is a donation station financed by you, the valued listener. Do us a favor. Head to freedomslips.com and donate today. Bill Cardwell, otherwise known as number one around the SOR Space Travelers Club, he has set the password for the night. Colloquy is your password. Colloquy. Make sure you use it wisely, as the password is very, very important if you are an SOR space traveler. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Instagram, I can be followed at Dave Scott, SOR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can tune us in on TuneIn. Find us on iTunes. This show or others, you can download them right now, as that's where we are. And our website is spacedoutradio.com. While there, you can join the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is only $5 a month. When you sign up, you get access to private group interviews, access to special sections on our website, and so much more. You can read up on the SOR Spacewire by our news director, Eric Markham. Check out our latest blogs if you're into reading. Listen to some music from our guitar god, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, formerly of Guns N' Roses, the official sound of Spaced Out Radio. And if you've had a sighting, you can't explain it, fill out the SOR Sightlines report. Our investigator, Mike Schmidt, wants to hear your story. Write a report on it. All your personal information is kept 100% confidential. This weekend, once again, if you are on the West Coast, is the Forest Moon Paracon in Concrete, Washington. It's about an hour and a half north of Seattle, literally about 48 minutes from the Canadian border as well, here in British Columbia. Joining us are the organizers, Russ and S.J. Wells and Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. We welcome the team back. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Oh, it's been absolutely great tonight. Absolutely great. I want to get to a question here, and I know that Ron has been asking this a couple of times, and about time I actually get to it for you guys. Eric, we'll start with you on this one. Actually, pardon me, Russ, we'll start with you on this one. Ron would like to know, how do you handle protection for the people who will be taking part in the paranormal walk?
Well, I'm not sure there is a way to protect everyone. People's got different belief systems, the different way of looking at it. Some are believers, some are skeptic. That's a real good question. User beware, I would say. Mm-hmm. Careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Protection. When we do investigations, well, Sandy normally says a prayer over us. It's a protection prayer. She does it for her group, and it seems to have worked pretty well so far. But on occasion, when we've done just mild visits, like Virginia City and Montana, we were over there once messing around. And we didn't do it. We didn't bother with it because we didn't know that there were any that these burial sites were, up on this one section. And I got an attachment. Mm-hmm. It was a really strange. It was a really strange deal. I couldn't drive. I've been driving all my life. I don't have drove semis. I mean, for crying out loud, I know how to drive. And for 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, it was like someone else was trying to drive the car, and they didn't have a freaking clue how it worked. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I don't know, it was like experiencing something outside. It was weird. The only way I can put it. So protection, bring your lucky stuff and believe in yourself. And if you believe in God, believe in that. If you believe in whoever you call God, believe that he's going to protect you. Mm-hmm. And that's the best advice I can give.
SJ, would you like to comment in on that?
Yeah, sure. Well, Russ is right. There's no way to protect everyone. You just have to believe in what you believe, because for us, it's prayer. For maybe Eric's group, I wouldn't know what that they would do to protect themselves. Some people, what is it? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that, Dave?
No,
yeah.
I'm hearing everything fine. What are you hearing?
Sounds like wind blowing or something.
No, it's not.
Yes, I know what that is.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's what I would say. Just we will talk about it when we first start the walk. If people are too frightened to go on the walk because they're afraid they're going to get an attachment or something, don't come.
Yeah.
Because frankly, when we do an investigation, we take the proper precautions. But when we're doing a ghost walk, we're just talking to you about what we've experienced. Now, if you want to bring along an audio recorder, a camcorder, a camera, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But just understand that whenever you do something like this, you're always taking a chance of taking something home with you. If by chance that happens, let us know, and we will work with Eric's team and whatever we have to do to get rid of it for you. I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't either.
Coop, what do you do with members of your team for protection?
Well, again, I completely agree. It's based on the individual's belief. We use sage a lot, and we will have sage available. And it really comes down to awareness. Putting out the disclaimer that you get what you ask for, and whatever you believe in, ask for protection. And on top of that, I can assure you our astral team in Forest Moon Paranormal will be active. They will be observing. And on that note, if it makes people feel better, they will be watched from other realms by humans. So, yeah. So if they see an attachment, they can always remove it. That's what we do.
And I think that's pretty important because we've talked with the members of Chronicles of the Unknown who will be down at your group event here this weekend, about protection many a times. And it's amazing how many teams, Eric, literally go out into the field chasing ghosts, and they have no sense of any type of protection whatsoever. It's like it's not even necessary.
Well, that's because it comes down to education. A lot of the idea, we're just going to barge into this client's house and get that perfect picture and get that perfect EVP, and to hell with you if you're haunted. Have a nice day. We got our evidence now, and we're going to keep it and stockpile it and whatever. But good luck dealing with it. I don't know what to do now because they don't get taught that. They don't get taught how to remove a spirit or battle an entity or, whatever the case is. And the protection, what's that? What do I need protection for? Because they don't get taught that. Do they show them doing protection on TV? No. They might do a group prayer in some, but overall with paranormal TV, they don't show you that side of it. So there's no danger in it. We're just going to go and, provoke whatever it is and get our evidence and go home. And thanks for inviting us into your home. And we got the pictures now. Good luck. And, that's the whole attitude of a majority of the paranormal groups out there. So protection, protection is what one of the important things of an investigation or anything you deal with.
SJ, you wanted to talk about Fog Paranormal. You're in Russ's group that's been around for almost 30 years here, if not longer. And what do you guys do differently than a lot of other paranormal teams out there are doing?
Well, I like to promote the fact that it even says it on our T-shirts. You guys will get to see it when we come up there. There's certain words that we abide by in our group. One is integrity. 2 is dignity. 3 is compassion. And, oh God, there's another one. What is it? There's another word I can't say, but I can't think of it right now. But, yeah, you'll get to see it at Paracon. We just got new T-shirts made up, and it says it right on the back of our shirts because we feel like when you're dealing with spirits and humans, you have to have a certain amount of all of these things combined to balance out what you're doing. You don't, like Eric said earlier, you don't want to go into some place and start cussing and being belligerent to spirits when you have no idea who they were or what they've even done, other than try to get somebody's attention that they're there. Now, if it's like a poltergeist situation, you're going to understand that it's probably not a good situation, but you have to balance out humanity and spirituality when you're doing an investigation. And I'm very adamant about that with our team. I don't want somebody going into a situation where somebody's already afraid and instilling further fear by saying, oh yeah, and this has happened so many times, and it just, I can't even tell you how much this irritates me. A team will go in, they will, without any evidence, without any proof of what they're dealing with, they'll say, oh yeah, you've got a demon in your house. Now Eric's laughing because he knows where I'm going with this. And then they contact us and say, well, this team came in and now everything's worse and, whatever. And then we have to go in and clean up the mess. It's like having a 3-year-old in a room and letting them just go wild and destroying the room and then just walking out and you have to deal with it. And that's kind of where, we balance, our team is required to balance out what we're doing always. And with all these things, you have to be compassionate for the spirit and the client. You have to have integrity. Mm-hmm. You have to have dignity, for the spirit and the client. I mean,
you have to look at it as you're a doctor or a mechanic or a carpenter. You're fixing something. So the last thing you want to do, and I've said it for years on end. Do no harm.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't do any good, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
If you don't make it worse.
If you don't know what you're doing, don't go to the investigation. Call somebody in that's had a little bit more experience. Actually, Eric and me and Russ have talked about this. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're new to the field, please contact somebody like Russ and I or Eric who has decades of experience and talk to them. Find out what the situation is. Let us know what the situation is, and maybe we might be able to help you get through it without being, ridiculed or whatever because you don't know what you're doing.
First of all, you're dealing with people that's been traumatized.
Yeah.
They got things going on that they don't know what in the world's going on. So you have to play psychiatrist with your client and the entity because you are dealing with a person that has passed on and they got feelings too.
Mm-hmm.
You come in, if I pass away and somebody's coming to invest me, I got a reason to hang around, and they come in and start calling me a son of a bitch, I guarantee you my response is not going to be nice.
Yeah.
Nope.
So
we have talked so much about that on our show in regards to, the way teams just do not seem to get it. And in the end, I think what you do, Russ and SJ, brings credibility to the field. People can look at you and say, you know what, we have credibility here. We can trust these people. Yet with other groups, because it's more of a game to them rather than research, that's where people and the public needs to really, really watch out for it. So when you were breaking down to people, Russ, about what you need to look for in a paranormal group, if you have a haunted situation you want cleared up, what advice do you give them?
Well, one, you want someone with experience. I don't have any problem with young groups coming up, starting and getting their chops wet, doing investigations, things of this nature. But on some of these things, you really need experienced help. Research. Find out about the team. Talk to them. Research is a lot of it. Getting to know who you're dealing with, because unfortunately, there's teams out there that only concerned about one thing, and well, that's getting on TV or getting popular or how many hits they get on YouTube or whatever. When it comes right down to it, when the photograph's done or the evidence is there or someone gets that piece of video that no one can deny, that's what I'm looking for. I don't care who gets it. I don't care if it's me, if it's Sandy, if it's Izzy, you, Rob, well, there's a couple of them. I don't care who gets that evidence, who gets that proof. That's what we're all looking for.
Yeah.
And we need to share this information openly and quit this, oh man, don't get me started on the popularity contest, because I just ain't into that crap whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It don't interest me. I'm more interested in helping people and preserving historic sites. I'm really big in history.
Yeah.
Eric, I would love to hear your opinion on that.
Oh, okay. First of all, anytime you're investigating a group, that you want to, some key words you want to look for is expert. There's no such thing as an expert in the paranormal field. If this group claims that they're experts in their field, walk away. You'll find a group that doesn't have an ego. You'll find a group that's there to help you. Second thing you want to look for, how much do they charge?
Yeah.
Because a real paranormal group that's out there for to help you isn't going to charge. We do it to help people. We don't do it for money. We do it to help people. And like Russ said earlier, you're never going to know everything. If you say you're an expert, that means you know everything. That's why we call ourselves specialists in our field. We specialize. That means we're always learning. You'll never know everything. So those are two key points that you want to look for. The other thing you want to look for, like Russ and SJ just said earlier, how long they've been in the field. How many cases have they done? I don't expect you to give me a client list because I know Fog and Forest Moon both. No, we don't disclose clients. I've been called by producers in paranormal TV shows. We would like to see if any of your clients like to come on our show, and I just tell them without even contacting anybody, no, because I know my clients don't want to be on TV. They got the help they needed. They're happy. No, I'm not even going to put them in that predicament because I know people that have been on paranormal TV and they got burned. So, no, those are 3 key points you want to look at. Now, if you want to be in the paranormal field, then, again, yeah, find yourself a reputable group that's been in the field for a while and ask to be mentored by them. Or what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, ask to be mentored by them and ask if you can take along and learn from them. Because the key points you want to look at is protection and removal or remediation, whichever the case is.
Robert Rose in the SOR Space Travelers, who also now heads up the East Coast Fog Paranormal, is saying, I feel it's worth mentioning on the air that whatever the method of protection is, the minute the human thinks the power emanates from themselves, that is when spirits will attack harder. SJ, what do you think about that comment?
Actually, that's true. You have got to... I guess the best way to go into anything, any investigation, or even our ghost walk coming up, is to remember that you have more power than you will ever understand. If you believe in what you're who you are, what you're doing, how your life is going, all that stuff, you're going to be protected. You just have to realize that not everything is out to get you, for one thing, and just go with it, have fun, laugh, just be a normal person, and you'll be fine. I mean, Russ and I have gone into so many places where we haven't protected ourselves, but we were fine. And nobody that was with us ever got harmed. And the reason being is because that's the attitude we have. We go in, we check our fear at the door, and we go in and do our thing. And that's it. It's as simple as that, as far as I'm concerned, you know.
And also remember, negative entities feed off fear.
Yeah.
If you go in fearful, they're going to be drawn to you. It's like a battery. Fear is a battery. Fear is a magnet. So negative entities. If you go into an investigation, if you go in with the fear they're going to show themselves. You get what you ask for.
Yep.
And that's what you have to be careful of. That goes back to what you were stating the last hour, Eric, about be careful what you wish for. And that is one of the big issues that I'm going to be talking about coming up here in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, I guess, from now, is I will be discussing be careful what you wish for on the experiences of people. You know, and one of the things that I am going to be talking about is it's not just about the experience. It's about the media. It's about having the wool pulled over our eyes. And I think with all the topics that are going to be happening this weekend, Eric, this is going to be enlightening for a lot of people because they're going to be able to see, A, they're not alone in their experiences, whether they're UFOs like you're talking about, paranormal like Russ and SJ are talking about, or just the typical experience. But that is the whole point of any type of Paracon, or should be, is to help awaken people about the things that are happening, isn't it?
It is, indeed. And that's why it's open to the public. I want the public. I want them to come. And I want them to be skeptics, because ideally they're going to walk out of the Paracon going, damn, I guess there's something to it after all. You know, I want skeptics, because I want you to be awakened. And just promoting the Paracon, I've already had, comments on different public boards going, yeah, nut jobs. And, that's the attitude, and that's why you don't have experiences that come out. But if I get 10 people that are skeptics that come into this Paracon and go, maybe there's something to it after all. There's enough people out here in this Paracon that are just like me, and they don't know anything. And there's Bigfoot. There's really UFOs. I just thought it was on TV. Really, there's spirits. You awaken people. You invite the public, not just the paranormal, not just the paranormal people, because being a spirit investigator and hearing about UFOs, you educate them. The idea, too, is to educate all the paranormal people that show up. That, the paranormal is a large spectrum. It's just not just isolated to one area. It's a very large spectrum. As you see, it's a Paracon.
Russ and SJ, I'm curious your opinion on that as well.
Go ahead, Russ. Oh, you go ahead.
I was listening to what Eric had to say, and that's absolutely true. I mean, if we're gonna educate the public, we need them to come to these Paracons, this type of Paracon especially, because what we're trying to make people understand is the paranormal is the definition of it is anything above normal, and so that would include UFOs, cryptids, Bigfoot, ghosts,
everything.
It does not conclude or come into play just ghosts or just UFOs or just cryptids. And so I'm hoping to see a lot of the public come into this Paracon because I want people to understand that we believe in what we do. And I want them to understand what I know. And I want them to walk away scratching their head and say, just like Eric said, wow, maybe there is something to this. Look at all these people here. So that's what I think.
Do you expect in the crowd there to be that person who is so five senses that he or she is going to be making their point validated during the speakers where not true, no, that doesn't exist. You know what I'm talking about? There always seems to be one of them at every Paracon.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there'll be that. There'll be somebody there that has to rock the cradle, so to speak, and that's okay. I invite those kind of people because I will debate somebody. If I'm passionate about something, I will debate them till I'm blue in the face, and if they still walk away not understanding what I'm talking about, that's their loss, not mine.
Mm-hmm. I refuse to have a battle of wits with unarmed people.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Because, I welcome skepticism. I have a lot of it when I do investigations. I question a lot of stuff. I don't just take it off and go, oh, it's a ghost. I really look at the whole situation and try to reason it out. Mm-hmm. But your main problem has been for the last 15 years, it's media. Mm-hmm. What they've done with the shows and how they presented it, and then you have big people that do put on these big events and then cancel, and they give us a bad name. And the paranormal field took a hit enough, they already think we're a bunch of kooks. And they're right. It's not just ghosts. It's Bigfoots. It's aliens. It's fairies. It's anything out of the norm. Mm-hmm. I think the educational factor or the benefits of what we're going to be doing far outweighs the possibility of that one person that I have no problem engaging being there, because maybe by him being there, he'll get the education and we'll flip another one. Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't have no problem turning them people. I'll turn you all to the dark side, damn it.
Well, and the other thing is planting the seed. Even if we don't convince them that there is something else out there, you plant the seed.
And that's important, that you have to be able to open up the eyes of the people who are going to be skeptic, because there's going to be people out there, like you said, who are just going to be, no matter what, they're not going to be believing a damn thing that goes on or what is said. And for some reason, they're like vegans. They always have to pronounce themselves that they are there, they are present. But on the flip side, of this, let's go to another topic. A lot of these type of Paracons sometimes get visitors, whether they are government visitors, whether they are alien visitors, whether they are just some sort of connection that is just a little too strange and a little too weird. Do you expect to see that happening as well, Russ?
Russ? Well, I've been on the air quite a bit, and I've said things that I don't regret, as far as my political views and my paranormal views. Could there be? Possibly. I would see where that would draw interest. You know, you always be careful. You always have someone watching every little group that's going on because, well, the interest in national security, blah 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 blah. We don't want to get into that. Possibly. I don't care. I don't care. I'm a loyal United States citizen that is just expressing my right to hold a Paracon, you know, and share what we know. I don't know. I would kind of welcome, you know, maybe talking to an Air Force general about the shit I've seen in the sky. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
I can totally see that taking part. I could totally see that. But, you know, I know when I emceed my first Paracon that I went to, it was a UFO conference in Vancouver, and I could honestly say there was one guy in there who seemed very, very governmental. His hair was just a little bit too perfect, if you know what I mean. Eric, you'll know what I mean by that.
Yep.
Just seemed a little too perfect. And, you know, at another point on that was when we had another guy show up where we all thought it was an actual alien that was there.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy was fidgeting in and out of his skin. It was, you know, it reminded me of, do you remember that scene in the first Men in Black movie where the alien takes over the human body and it's always like trying to stretch out the skin so it has more room?
Right, yeah.
It was kind of like that action this guy was taking. And it was just a little bit of freakiness that went on with that. So you have to be prepared for that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember that movie. I remember that character you're talking about.
Edgar.
That's twitchy.
So, how do you prepare for that?
I don't have an answer for that, honestly. You can't prepare. Other than watch them and maybe even get a message from them.
Well,
that would be ideal. Yeah.
Eric, you know how many black helicopters we have flying around up there by concrete?
Yeah, there's a lot of activity up here. Not to mention, I just found out yesterday that the local law enforcement has been watching my Facebook. Not over Paracon, but over search and rescue issues. And saw a post that I made. So, yeah, I found out real quick yesterday that local law enforcement is watching my Facebook. They have to be aware of Paracon. And is government aware? I'm pretty damn sure. So we might get a visitor. Am I worried about it? Not really, because we're exercising our rights.
Yep.
Joe has an interesting question here in the SOR Space Travelers. He is asking, during the Forest Moon Paracon Roundtable, will any of you save an empty seat for any entity that wants to show up?
Sure.
Of course.
Why not?
I'll have and Joe, I will have my pointy stick with your name on it.
Only if we can get a photograph.
Yeah.
That's the price.
Exactly.
The interesting thing is the Lone Star restaurant where we're holding the VIP roundtable is right in the dead center in between two haunted buildings. So if that building is haunted, we're going to find out. You can tell.
Most definitely, because like you said, the spirits cross between buildings. It's all one long building, basically, with different storefronts, just to describe it. And so is there a passageway for ghosts and spirits to travel through? Most definitely. So we might even get a ghostly visitor.
Yeah, I call it a paranormal highway.
Well,
right.
There will be one alien there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his head, anyway. Eli will be there. So anybody can stop by, ask Eli a question, stare in his eyes because he answers telepathically, and he will give you the answer, I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I got to meet him.
You got to get a picture taken with him.
Yeah, Russ actually carves wood, and he carved a human hybrid alien, and the eyes alone, I'm not kidding, they're very, hypnotic. So you guys gotta have a picture taken with Eli, definitely.
But Russ, you didn't carve a beard.
No, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, I'm a little hurt over that.
Yeah. Well,
right.
My cold weather, I'm getting old. Got to blame it on something other than being lazy.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just blame the beard on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there going to be, if the weather holds out during the paranormal walk, are we going to be sticking around to maybe look up into the stars and see if we can connect with any UFOs?
Sure, why not?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, we'll be. We're in the heart of the mountains, so if there's a UFO, you're going to see it. And Mount Baker is right there, and there's been there. I've known of groups that have gone up there and actually tried to telepathically communicate with a UFO. It didn't work, but the possibility is always there.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
actually, actually the other day, Russ and I actually saw a UFO when we were driving up Mount Baker Highway because we stay in Bellingham, or we're living in Bellingham now.
I don't know if it was a UFO.
Oh, come on. What I saw, you can't explain it because there was no vapor trail, there was no sound. It was cigar-shaped. And
way too high for sound. It looked like a rocket, the solid rocket booster. I used to live in Florida, and I watched a lot of launches, the Apollo missions, space shuttles, and you would see these solid rocket boosters coming back down. But this thing almost looked like an ICBM flying through the air. No vapor trail, no thrust, but it was probably doing, I don't know, Mach 5. I don't know. It was all a butt, 5 miles high.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was. Yeah. Very cool.
I can tell you this. When I lived in the lower mainland of BC, I had a beautiful view of Mount Baker from the north side of it. And one night on my patio, Samantha Mowat, who has been a guest on this show, she was there, my wife was there, and we were literally watching lights for about 45 minutes to an hour on Mount Baker, on all different peaks. And they were orange lights, pink lights, green lights, blue lights, and Mount Baker has a year-round glacier all over it. And it is just one of the most perfect-looking, beautiful volcanoes. Like if you draw a volcano on a piece of paper, that's what Mount Baker looks like. It's got the angles going up with the flat top on top. It is just the perfect volcano. But I remember just seeing these lights and watching them move, and then probably after about an hour when they died off, we all watched this orb go streaking across the sky in dusk with a chemtrail. Of all things. And no sound, no engine, no nothing. It was kind of cool to watch.
We have chemtrails here, too.
Lots of picture.
Russ posted a picture of Eli.
No, I didn't post it.
Or somebody did. Robert Rose did in the chat room, if you want to see that, Dave.
Thank you, my brother, for doing that.
I am looking at Eli. Eli, is that a wood carving?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Eli is the head of looks very, very alien on there, so you have to go into the SOR Space Travelers Club and join up if you're not a member in order to see the picture of Eli in tonight's chat. So,
where do you think, I'm sorry, but where do you think they got the idea for the carvings at Easter Island?
That's kind of what he based it off of.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. The Easter Island looks very, very familiar in that.
Yeah, that's where I modeled him after. Kind of figured that that's probably one of the oldest alien-looking landmarks that we have, and they're really buried deep in the ground. They're gigantic figures. And I based him off of that. Figured that's who they saw. And Eli's been around for a long time. I think he's probably 2,000 years old.
Just amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Eric Tripp has a question in the Space Out Radio chat room. He's asking, do you believe lasers really work to get a UFO's attention?
That's a good question. I think UFOs cloak. I think they show themselves when they want to. I think a laser. If you were to see a UFO, I think you're meant to anyway. And I don't know. Do you really want their attention though? If you shoot a laser up at a UFO, you're going to definitely catch their attention, and that might not be the attention you want.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it comes down to be careful what you wish for. If you're going to be doing that, make sure you put the positive energy out there and say, look, I don't want anything bad or malevolent or anything like that. We want to be in contact with the good guys. I'm a firm believer in that.
Exactly.
I have never had to use the lasers. I have been on a UFO hunt and used the lasers at one point. I guess for me, as cool as it is, because they're fun to shine around, you have to be very, very careful with them, especially if you're in an airline on a flight path, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Because you're on a flight path, you can really, really get screwed up by police.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now, in the paranormal field that we do have and still will use laser grids that lay out a grid or a star pattern or dots or whatever, and you'll see, if you're lucky, you'll see movement in that.
And we have
it once. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
But still, the lasers I think they're quite an effective tool in all industries. I think we already got them so that they could shoot down an alien aircraft if they wanted to. But there's the question again: you shoot them down, what the heck? What kind of can of worms did you just open up?
Mm-hmm.
So buyer beware again.
Fully agree that it has to be buyer beware, and I think it's going to be interesting, though, because the energy is going to be so built around this. I'm going to be surprised if nothing does happen. Really, I'm going to be surprised if nothing happens, because when you get that amount of believers with that amount of energy all into one place, everybody's going to feed off each other. It's going to go straight up into the universe. And, something is going to manifest. We just don't know what yet. And that's the curious part for me.
Yeah, we're going to create a beacon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we got to keep talking here, guys. We only got about 15 minutes left. I know we're getting tired.
I was going to say that, when the interesting part, you guys were just talking about sending all the energy up into the universe, and that's true. And the interesting thing is we were smack dab in the middle of Bigfoot country up there, so you never know. Somebody might have a Bigfoot encounter up there while we're up there.
Well, and then you have to go. You have to look at you have to look at the interdimensional aspect of Bigfoot that many of us do believe. I mean, you've got the people out there that believe Bigfoot to be an animal. I'm like a 180 on that. In that, I believe firmly interdimensional. So Bigfoot, you got to look for that matrix pattern.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hey, Eric. Do Bigfoot? Okay, now we see people spot them or see them, and then they disappear. Are they stepping through like a Stargate? Or are they going through an interdimensional door? How are they doing this? Is it spacecraft?
That's where the interdimensional aspect comes from, because they slip into a different dimension. Because you've got so many cases where you're following these Bigfoot tracks in snow, for example, and they just disappear. It's not like new snow came down and covered the tracks up. No, they just disappear in thin air. How do you explain that other than an interdimensional aspect? And you're going to hear from Tyler in that the most recent case he had involving Bigfoot, he actually felt a vibration where it was communicating. Now, had he raised or lowered his vibration to match it, maybe he could have got a telepathic communication from it. You never know. There's a lot of theories out there you could look at. But I firmly stand on the interdimensional aspect of Bigfoot.
I'm a firm believer as well in that.
Most definitely. And it also goes into why you don't find bodies, why you don't find bones, why, you have so many Bigfoot sightings and experiencers out there, but you don't see Bigfoot. Just like on your show, Dave, with the trail cams, where you could hear Bigfoot, but all you saw was white. And I have to question all these people that come out with Bigfoot videos. Some of them are blurry, some of them are, indecipherable. You can't tell. If Bigfoot knows he's being videoed, maybe that's when he masks. But if he doesn't know he's being videoed, that's when you see videos come out. I mean, I don't know. There's so much we don't know.
I guess
it brings more questions.
I'm going to cut you off there for a second because I want to add this. Not everybody, and I will say this in my speech on Saturday, not everybody who takes a picture of Bigfoot can be that bad of a photographer or videographer where everything is always blurry.
Right.
It can't be that bad. And that's all we ever seem to see is these blurry photos, blurry videos. And when you have those blurry films coming through all the time, I guess it just makes me wonder, what does Bigfoot have in the supernatural category that cloaks itself from an actual image into this blurry blob that we're supposed to try and make out as a Bigfoot? It just makes me wonder.
Exactly.
Well, the energy that they put out must be incredible. I mean, because, like, for instance, like when we're doing an investigation and all of a sudden you're getting this vibration of cold, a cold sensation going through your whole body, we consider that we're a spirit's walking through us. And it had it happen very similar actually several times. And so maybe that energy, the same kind of energy, is what they're putting out and why the technology is so, gets so blurred. It's a big possibility.
Ron has a question in the SOR Space Travelers Club. He is asking, what is everyone's opinion on killing Bigfoot? He says he disagrees. I'm going to answer this first. I don't think Bigfoot can be dropped. I do not believe we have had too many reports of Sasquatch being shot, including in Mount St. Helens in Ape Canyon, where nobody has seen this creature drop. They've hit it, We've known people have hit it with guns, but there's something about this creature that it does not die from a bullet, at least not in front of us. It doesn't fall to the ground, doesn't matter how large the slug is. I'm wondering if, and that's one of the reasons why I seem to believe that Bigfoot is very supernatural in that way. Eric, your opinion?
Oh, I firmly agree. I don't think you can kill them. But aside from that, I don't find it ethical. How can you? I don't. And I'm a hunter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-gun. I have guns, and I am a hunter. I hunt deer. I don't hunt bear, but if I come across one that's attacking or whatever, then I'll shoot it. So I have no problem with hunting. But why are you going to hunt a Bigfoot, a mythical creature that is obviously rare in and of itself? I don't believe it's ethical to hunt Bigfoot. But even if you could shoot it, again, I agree with you, Dave. I don't think it can be killed.
Nope. Russ, your opinion?
Nope, I don't think you can kill them. I don't think our what harms us harms them in any way. I don't think they're indigenous to this planet anyway. So no, I don't think you can kill them. We can barely get a damn photograph of them. So no.
Yeah, I don't think that that you should try to kill one, because it's quite obvious that they're rare, at least to this planet. And
let's face it, really, when we come down to a species as human beings, killing is wrong, but it's something that we do very damn well.
Mm-hmm.
We say it's wrong, and we say it's evil to do, but we do it all the time. And that's the reason we're afraid of aliens, is because we're afraid they're going to come down here and imprison us and enslave us because, well, that's our history. Yeah. That's what we do, or have done.
I have talked to hunters, and as well as Bigfoot researchers who have talked to hunters who have come across Bigfoot in their crosshairs, who have actually lowered their rifle because they didn't want to be responsible for killing what could be a relative of man. And they said it looked way too human in order to pull the trigger. So wow. I'm very, very intrigued by this comment, but like I said, I'm a firm believer you can't kill it with a gun. Yeah, I'm sure it can die somehow, but too many have been shot at where they haven't dropped right in front of a hunter. They haven't staggered in front of a hunter. So I don't know. It's a $1 trillion question.
See, that's my point. It's not an animal. I have no problem hunting animals for survival. This is not an animal. This is a being. Yeah, it's a being. And that's totally wrong. Even if we could.
We got about 3 minutes left. Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you. I want you to break down what everybody, once again, is going to be able to see and hear at the Forest Moon Paracon on Saturday in Concrete, Washington.
All right. And I don't have the itinerary directly in front of me. I can't tell you who's speaking at what time because it's not in front of me. But doors open. Lake Tyee Lodge, 8 a.m. I know Tyler Tyler's stepping up first with Bigfoot. He's the first speaker at 8:30, and it goes from there. You have every topic covered, from alien abduction, ufology, to Bigfoot, to how it all ties together, experiencers. We got vendors. We have the round table from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., and then we have the Spirits of Concrete walk with SJ and Russ. Come out, have fun. We have raffles. And my mate just handed it to me. Yeah, we have ghostology from 2:30 to 3:45. Also, we have Bill Hauser coming. He's doing the Spirit Box sessions at noon at the 12 o'clock, the lunch break. We have a 2-hour lunch break because we will be selling hot dog plates. But if you don't want a hot dog plate, then Concrete's 10 minutes away. We have all kinds of restaurants and whatnot down there. Also, Chronicles of the Unknown and the Canadian Paranormal Society is on the VIP roundtable. We have 10 tickets left, $25, 30 at the door.
And I will be there, too, wearing my Marvin the Martian hat that you absolutely love.
Outstanding.
I will bring that just so you and I can get a picture together. That's what it's all about. And you know what? It's going to be a lot of fun. I am so looking forward to this. And trust me, right now, life is hectic and busy. I need a break. And I tell you, this could not come at a better time.
Exactly. Also, there's going to be comment cards. If you're there, fill one out. By all means, tell me who you want to hear next year. And we'll be going over comment cards on S4 on Sunday night with our Paracon breakdown.
Yes, and I am actually saving my blog for next week. I usually write them on Friday and Saturday. I'm actually saving it until Sunday, so that way I can actually get my experiences out about the Forest Moon Paracon, because I know it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be absolutely a blast out there, so I look forward to it. Russ and SJ, any final words before we got to start wrapping this thing up?
Just one comment. We will be having Dave on our show, Dark Moon Rising Radio, on Wednesday after the Paracon. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff, the Paracon and all kinds of other paranormal good stuff. So come and hang out with us.
Well, you know what? I'm like, really? Which Dave? Which Dave? And then I look right ahead of me, straight ahead above my computer screen. October 26th, radio show with Dark Moon and Robert Rose. So I guess, yeah, that, you know it's late when you forget your sticky note is right in front of you. That's
okay.
It happens. It happens.
Safe driving, Dave.
Yes, it'll be a long day of driving for me, but I'm going to cut it down in a break. The best part about it is tomorrow I actually get to spend a couple of hours with my daughter down on the coast before I get to head on down. So I'm looking forward to spending some time with her, because I kind of like her. You know, she's kind of cool. You know, so we're going to do that tomorrow as well. I want to say thank you. You guys hold on. I'm going to start wrapping this thing up around here. That's Eric Cooper, Russ and S.J. Wells. Earlier in hour number 1, Christina George was with us. Forest Moon Paracon, Concrete, Washington, Saturday. Come on down, or come on up, or come out west, because you can't really go east anymore. You know, if you're in the area, make the drive. I want to meet you. I want to be there. I want to meet you. So come on down and let's have some fun. Who knows? Maybe old Davey will even buy you one of those 2.5% beers that they got in America. You know, that's just the way it runs. If you're listening on the Space Out Radio side, you're listening to Ron Bumblefoot Thal, our resident guitar god of Space Out Radio. Bumblefoot rocks us in and out of every single show here on SOR. We love being a Bumblefoot-approved show. There aren't many of them in this world, and we're one of the fortunate. Tomorrow night on the show, James Tyson is in the cabin. We've literally picked up the cabin. We're going to move it from BC to Washington State, where Uncle Jimbo can broadcast. Summer Paradis from New England Hauntings will be our guest tomorrow night. I'll be on the road, driving on down south that lonely, lonely highway. Remember, you can catch this show and others on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show, on TuneIn, and you can download it right to your iTunes from your iTunes account. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you later. Have a good one. We're going to crank this up before I leave.